Martin Show. Afternoons from 2 to 7 on WFAN. WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, and Odyssey Sports Station. Evan Roberts. Tiki Barber. It's Evan and Tiki on WFAN, The Fan, 1019 FM, and always live on the free Odyssey app.
Good morning, New York City. Evan and Tiki on The Fan. Tiki out today. He's back tomorrow. I don't know what country he's in. We'll find out tomorrow at 10 a.m. Shaun in the big seat. We will get to the New York Knicks, who begin their best-of-7 second-round series against, of all teams, the Philadelphia 76ers. We'll get you set for the Yankee game tonight, maybe even talk about the Mets for 30 seconds or less. But obviously, we awoke to some horrible news, some sad news around the great John Sterling, who passed away earlier today. And I was thinking, what's the number one thing that comes to mind to properly tribute John Sterling? I mean, he is a great guy. We've all had a chance to interact with him. He was a friendly guy. But I think that John Sterling's voice and everything he described, he was truly the soundtrack of the New York Yankees for an entire generation. I think about myself growing up as a baseball fan, and it was his voice describing the improbable pink Cadillac run of 1996. Yes. It was his voice who was articulating the back-to-back perfect games and seasons by David Wells and David Cohn. It was his voice describing the greatest baseball team I've ever seen, the 1998 Yankees. It was his voice, painfully as a Met fan, describing the Subway World Series. It was his voice describing, I know they didn't win the series, but 2001's World Series will always live with all of us and some of the improbable moments, all the way until even the bad of losing the World Series to the Dodgers. He was the narrator. He was the voice. And when you think about this incredible era of New York Yankee baseball, it's described by John Sterling. Like 99.9% of the awesome or painful moments, depending on your perspective, was described by him. And he did it brilliantly. And the best word I can use to describe John Sterling was he was entertaining as hell. And so it's a sad day to know he's not around anymore, but it's also a day where we should celebrate one of the great legacies in New York sports and New York media, the great John Sterling, because he brought, and I hope he understood this, he brought so much joy to Yankee fans and non-Yankee fans for the way he so brilliantly and hilariously described decades and decades of Yankee baseball.
Evan, he got the point of sports. The point of sports is supposed to be fun, right? Like, this is what we try to teach our kids now as they play their own sports. When I grew up, when you grew up, obviously you're a Met fan, I'm a Yankee fan. In 96, I'm 9 years old. 97, I'm 10 years old. Like, I'm at that vulnerable age where I'm leaving Little League games and my dad's got the Yankees in the car. And then, you know, we're turning off the ninth inning TV-wise because you want to hear John Sterling give you the Yankees win. It took me a little bit to understand who John Sterling was as a young kid, but I knew this. He made baseball really fun for me. And as much as I loved all the Bernie Williams moments, the Paul O'Neill moments, the Derek Jeter moments, to me, they go hand in hand with how John Sterling made those moments sound to somebody like me. There was no chance in my life to ever utter these words, baseball is boring. Because how could it be boring as a Yankee fan growing up with John freaking Sterling making you laugh, cry, and laugh again all along the way? And that's what he meant to me growing up.
Oh, no doubt. And I think that one of his lasting legacies that we all had so much fun with were the home run calls.
Oh.
Which I think started innocently. It was just burn, baby, burn.
Yes.
And it began this, like, catalog of some of the most hilarious, ridiculous, and awesome calls for 25 years. And I'm going to tell everybody in the audience this, and some of you may know, but during the pandemic, the great John Schweibacher put together every one of John Sterling's home run calls. We have a library of every single John Sterling home run call. And during the pandemic, when we were looking for things to laugh about, smile about, we played all of them. And so today, and this is rare, anytime you call in today, whether it's about the Knicks or it's about the Yankees or it's about honoring John Sterling, if you have a request of any Yankee over the last 25 years, we've got the archives ready to go. So
awesome.
Can I show it off as an example?
Yeah,
Robbie,
give us one.
You ready for this one? I'm going to pick a random New York Yankee. and you're going to get to hear the voice, the legendary voice of John Sterling, not only call a home run, but give us his famed nickname for that random New York Yankee.
Okay.
And I really want to start off random.
All right.
Because if you've been listening to the station, you've heard Jason Giambi, you've heard Bernie Williams, we all know Aaron Judge. So I want to start off with one that I know is a Shaun Morash favorite.
All right.
Do you remember Lance Berkman?
Yes.
You guys remember Lance Berkman?
Come on, Shaun Moore's favorite. This is my favorite one of all time.
You may remember him as a slugger on the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
He was on the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, Lance Berkman was very briefly on the New York Yankees. And there are so many awesome things about the career of John Sterling, and we're going to get to all of them. But one of my favorites is that it didn't matter if you were a Yankee for 30 seconds or 5 minutes or a decade. We were going to hear a home run call for you. So would you guys like to hear it?
I want to hear it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and you'll hear it throughout the day. We'll have all request radio if you have specific requests. Lance Berkman hitting a home run.
The 1-2. Swung on a long drive to right field. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Lance Berkman hits his first home run of the Yanks. Their first hit of the night. Obviously their first run. Sir Lancelot rides to the rescue. Say Louis. Say Louis. Lance Berkman homers and the Yankees trail 2-1.
The key word is entertainment right there.
It is. You know, Evan, the other thing that's unique about John Sterling when you hear moments like that, John Sterling, in the realm of baseball, came to the Yankees late when you consider their great history, right?
Yes.
And I know it's been an entire generation now, but if you're building like a Mount Rushmore of announcers synonymous with their teams, it's Vin Scully with the Dodgers, it's Harry Carey with the Cubs, it's Jack Buck with the Cardinals, and it's John Sterling with the Yankees. And that's a hard wall to break through, to be that synonymous with a franchise that has so much history, and yet you weren't really a part of it with the 70s, you know, going back, Mantle, like everything that went into it. The 90s dynasty and thriving with John Sterling allowed him to break down a wall of being synonymous with a franchise.
No, and you mentioned the career he had before he got here.
Yeah.
He called New Jersey Nets games.
Mm-hmm.
He called Atlanta Hawks games.
Yep.
But he also called New York Islander games.
How amazing.
And we've got some of his calls, and joining us right now is Bert in Seattle, who certainly remembers John Sterling as an Islander voice. What's going on, Bert?
Well, it's a sad day in a way, but what an icon this guy was. And I know the time that I spent with the Islanders, he wasn't there that long, but he made it very memorable when he was there. And my buddy Chico Resch, as you guys keep mentioning him, and I get to run into Chico once in a while when he's coming out here with the New Jersey Devils. But the one great memory I always had with John Sterling was that I got to play tennis with him.
Wow.
And he was a lefty and had a very sneaky sliced game that he used, and I always enjoyed that. So anyways, I want to say that it was great to have him in my life. And I hope you guys continue on. I love watching your program, and this is great memories that I have there.
He was a great man who gave us a lot of memories. Thank you, Bert, for the call. And who knew John Sterling had a mean tennis game? Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
But that's a part of what I learned about Sterling early on, because he starts broadcasting the Yankees. He's a part of my childhood, like your childhood. And I think it was my dad who told me, he's like, yeah, we did Islander games. And I'm like, excuse me, he did? Yeah, we did Nets games? I'm like,
Right.
What? And then you go back, and there's an archive of all of these great John Sterling moments. Did the Atlanta Braves as well. He had a long, illustrious career. Did a talk show. I think we played some clips from his talk show back in the day. So this is a man who we remember in New York mostly for the Yankees and mostly for being the narrator of the greatest Yankee era. I guess the greatest modern Yankee era.
Modern Yankee era,
I don't want to
yeah.
knock the DiMaggio or Mantle era. But his career, his broadcasting career is so much more layered than just what he did for the New York Yankees.
Yeah, it's just amazing to think back of all those Nets and Islanders calls and crafting what would become this legendary career, like learning the ins and outs, really, of just what took off with the Yankees.
Yeah, and we'll play calls throughout the day. I'll tell you personally, the one that still rattles me, and by rattles, I mean it's a good rattle.
Okay.
It's an emotional rattle, was the Scott Brosius home run in Game 5 of the 2001 World Series.
Mm-hmm.
Because And we'll pull that call up, Rami. Let me know when you have that one. Game 5, John Sterling. And I'll tell you why. And I admit, I was rooting against the Yankees. I mean, Yankee hater.
I got it.
17 years old, 18 years old. You know the deal. But it's around 9/11. They had just pulled off the miracle comeback from the day before. And I think what makes this call so amazing, and I'm going to get emotional hearing it now, is he exemplified the emotion of New York City with this call. That's not easy to do.
No.
Screaming and yelling and being excited, yeah, a lot of broadcasters are. But in your voice, in the shake of your voice, representing millions of people around the country, with not even what you say, but how you say it, is artistry. So I'll give you right now the greatest call, in my opinion, this man ever made as we honor and celebrate John Sterling on the day that he passed away. The Scott Brocious stunning game-tying home run from Game 5 of the 0-1 World Series.
Now Kim, 1-0. Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. That ball's high. It is far. It is good. I don't believe it. Once again, deja vu. A two-out, game-tying two-run home run by Scott Brocious. Probably the most unbelievable feat in World Series history.
Oh, you hear the crowd behind that call.
Yes.
How did they not win that World Series?
Don't think about that.
I know.
Don't
I know it's what immediately goes to.
Yeah, the other thing is, and you and I shared this memory of John Sterling, an observation of John Sterling, which I think is so badass. So the Knicks are about to play a playoff series. And Knicks fans are going to be nervous, man. They're going to be hiding under their chairs. It's the playoffs. You may be confident, but you're nervous, right? And yet, Jalen Brunson is probably calmer than we realize.
Yeah.
Well, if you're a broadcaster and you're calling the World Series, there's got to be some nerves. John Sterling was broadcasting Game 5 of the 2024 World Series. It subsequently turned into the final broadcast of his career.
Yep.
And we were lucky enough to be doing our show from Yankee Stadium that day from the Spanish broadcast booth, which is right next to the John Sterling, Suzyn Waldman booth. Yep. And so we glanced over, and we could see John, and we could see Suzyn preparing.
And they had a big TV interview. They were moving everybody out of the way to interview Sterling for what could be his final game.
That's right. It was a big deal. And this is also Yankees are down 3-1. It's Game 5 of the World Series. Could be your final game, but it's definitely your final game in that booth. Because even if you win, now you go out to L.A. John's doing a million interviews. He's stressed to the nines. He's about to call Game 5 of the World Series. And Shaun and I noticed something about John, and I think this is so badass. This is so badassery of John Sterling. You think he's nervous? You think he's going over the scouting reports 150 times? Nah, he's got this, man. He's done this like old hat. He was sitting there reading a novel. Just reading a novel. Just flipping through the pages like, I wonder what happens next, Suzyn.
Evan, you've obviously been here longer than me. If I made like a list of the 3 favorite things an audience would never know.
Yes.
In my experience working around sports radio, John Sterling reading a book up until, and not just like he read a book pregame. I'm talking about Suzyn is finishing the final pregame read. It is 30 seconds. 30 seconds. From first pitch. And there's John Sterling finishing a paragraph in a book and hitting close and going right into, all right, and we welcome you into the it's unbelievable that he did that. And you know what else I remember from that night too, Evan? As that inning of hell started to unravel, and I'm pacing back and forth in the Spanish booth, you're looking up at me. I'll never forget turning my head to the left and seeing John Sterling, who was, waiting at one moment there to pitch, and he could see the nervousness in me and you kind of laughing. And he looked over and he raised his hands and he did like this shaky, ooh, you scared? And he kind of looked at me like boo. And it eased me in real time. I started laughing. Now, it didn't ease the Yankees on the field, but he was unfazed. He was just enjoying the nervousness of everybody around him.
Yeah, it's like Michael Jordan in a pressurized spot. He's laughing at it. I laugh at the pressure. Let us go to Mike in Orlando, Florida. What's going on, Mike?
Evan, Shaun, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
Yeah, it's just a sad day to hear that John Sterling passed away. And I'm 35 now, and I've been a Yankee fan since I was in diapers. Growing up, I obviously knew his famous calls, the Yankees win, but I didn't really start listening to him on the radio until my 20s when I was delivering pizzas. And just a great announcer, and his passion. One call that me and my friend Jimmy always talk about is the Dwayne Wise call.
Oh,
So if you guys could play that, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Well, we said it. We'll be all request radio throughout this day. We have collected every home run that John Sterling ever made a nickname for. So he's requesting Dwayne Wise.
That's who we're leading with here, Dwayne Wise?
I love it. That's the beauty of this. I mean, Bertie, we all know Bertie Williams.
We
all know Jason Giambi.
I don't remember the Dwayne Wise.
The only thing I remember about Dwayne Wise, the player, is that he saved Mark Burley's perfect game in Chicago.
That's
Do you remember that?
Yes. Great catch.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you request, we deliver. Here is John Sterling's home run call for legendary forgotten Yankee, Dwayne Wise.
There'll be a 1-2 to Chavez.
Oh, wrong guy.
Not to Chavez, to Wise. And he drills one to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Dwayne Wise getting a rare start. Hits one over the auxiliary scoreboard in right center. Oh, that's a very wise man. A 2-run home run, and the Yankees take a 4-0 lead.
That was so perfect.
Vintage Shaun Sterling, right?
That is perfect. Poor Robbie was so scared. He's like, wait a second. It was labeled Dwayne Wise.
And that's, you know what? I know we often laugh, but that's the other thing about John. You know, anybody who makes a mistake in the world, you have a choice just to get over it, roll with it. His ability to just kind of own those moments, like, never mind, it's Dwayne Wise.
I got this.
It's so humbling and perfect. That's why we respect the hell out of it.
We will take your calls throughout the day, 888-808-1019. We'll also get you ready for Knicks Sixers, which obviously tips off tonight in about 10 hours at Madison Square Garden. So we'll get to everything coming up, but we are honored when we come back to talk to the great Suzyn Waldman as she discusses the life, the legacy, and certainly knowing John as well as anybody. She'll join us in just a couple of minutes. It is time for the Yankee Turning Point of the game. The first call to correctly identify yesterday's Yankee Turning Point at 866-540-866-540-9326. You'll receive a $100 Wendy's gift card. It's from our friends at Wendy's. Eat great even late at Wendy's. It is all from your flagship station for New York Yankee baseball, The Fan.
And our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
This is John Sterling, voice of the New York Yankees on WFAN.
Richardson leads off second. And the pitch is line. Base hit. Right field. Here comes Richardson. Here comes Marquega's throw. It's going to be not in time. Richardson scores on a base hit by Derek Jeter. Is that unbelievable? Or is that unbelievable? Yankees win the ball game. Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Thank you for the memories, John. You will be missed.
Yankees fans, have the official Yankees official game day program delivered to your door. Subscribe to Yankees Magazine by calling 800-GO-YANKS or visiting yankees.com/publications and get 8 issues a year for just $34.99 plus shipping. The Yankees official 2026 yearbook and media guide are also available for purchase. Get your Yankees Magazine yearbook or media guide today. Call 800-GO-YANKS or log on to yankees.com/publications.
The Boomer and Geo show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action, from player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up. It's everything you need all in one app, so don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/New York to get started. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA. Play your game. We just love the app around here. It has all the betting markets you could possibly want. It's safe and secure. When you win, you get paid instantly. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of WFAN. 21 and over and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Help with the gambling problem. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Spring and summer are around the corner, and now's the time to prepare for pest season. From homes and hotels to backyards and ballparks, homeowners and businesses choose J.P. McHale Pest Management. For over 50 years, J.P. McHale has delivered proven year-round protection with offices in New York City, Long Island, the Hudson Valley, and Connecticut, and over 2,000 five-star reviews. Right now, take advantage of J.P. McHale's seasonal residential discounts and free commercial inspections. Visit nopest.com. That's NOPESTS.com. J.P. McHale Pest Management. Not just good, guaranteed.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-4094. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-4094. That's 800-575-4094.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
At Nielsen, fun is in the driver's seat.
It's the Memorial Funbelievable event at Nielsen Dodge.
You can lease a new Jeep, Chrysler, Dodge, or Ram for $299 or under.
Choose from hundreds of new Jeeps, Chryslers, Dodges, and Rams.
You'll start feeling the vibes the minute you arrive. Fun is in the driver's seat.
Lease a new 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited 4x4, just $299 a month. Yes, just $299 per month.
Or choose from hundreds of certified pre-owned vehicles. Plus, we'll give you top dollar for your trade-in.
Under $299, that's Funbelievable.
Drive away today for just $299 or under on Route 10 in East Hanover, online at nielsendodge.com.
At Nielsen Dodge.
Fun is in the driver's seat.
Declaration of Deal Sales Event. With approval, term 36 months, due at signing, $52.99, add tax time, $498 doc, and DMV fee.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the New York community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
When it comes to getting the guaranteed lowest price on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. And when it comes to getting more free services for life than anywhere else on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go, Town Fair Tire. So when you're in the market for the best deal on Falcon tires, get to Town Fair, because nobody beats a Town Fair tire deal. And I mean absolutely nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Verizon Small Business Days are going on right now. This is the best time for small businesses to score great deals from Verizon Business and get one-on-one time with a business expert who will help with everything your business needs. These experts partner up with you to make sure you've got the best tech, devices, and plans so your business can get the W. Give Verizon Business a call to schedule a meeting with an expert during Small Business Days going on now through May 10th. Call 1-800-483-4428 or you can go to verizonbusiness.com.
At Target, finding something for every kind of mom and every side of mom just got easier. Does she love fashion? Take 20% off select women's clothing and accessories and find a dress she'll love to wear. Is she into the outdoors? Freshen up her favorite spot with up to 40% off planters, pillows, and poofs. Or keep it classic, fresh tulips for just $12 and a Dossier fragrance trio for $32. Whatever mom is into, we've got it. Celebrate mom her way, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
My dad passed away unexpectedly. Of course, it was awful in every way, but we are very grateful that he had life insurance. So even after he was gone, he was still able to provide for us. And that's why I have life insurance for my family. Ethos.com. They make it fast and easy to get covered. It's 100% online. You get a quote in seconds, and you can apply in minutes. You get covered the same day.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required. Rates may vary.
Get connected with WFAN to talk about your favorite teams. The Fan on the Odyssey, iHeart, and TuneIn apps.
Evan and Tiki here on the Fan. Tiki is off. He'll be back tomorrow. Shaun Morash sitting in. Obviously, we got the incredibly sad news about 3 hours ago, the passing of the legendary John Sterling. And I don't know too many people that know John better than Suzyn Waldman, who's been calling the Yankees for a long time, obviously the voice of the New York Yankees. Suzyn, we appreciate you coming on this sad day. Thank you very much for joining.
You're
Shaun
very
and I.
welcome. Thanks for having me on. If there's someone who deserves to be talked about, it's John Sterling.
For everyone who knew him by listening to him but didn't know him personally, tell us about the man that John was.
Well, what you actually heard was who he was. It was the job was something he had dreamed about since he was 6 years old. He wanted to be Mel Allen. He wanted to have this job forever. There are a couple of things I'd love that people would know about John. One, he didn't have a mean bone in his body. He had no guile. And he never understood why anyone would be mean to him or to anybody else. That's who he was. He was kind to everybody. He didn't know how to fight back when people were mean to him, and that's who he was. He had the best soul of anyone I've ever met in my life, and I don't think we're ever going to see that again.
Suzyn, for many Yankee fans like me growing up, and we just had a couple callers start of the show, it was the home run calls, I think, that really listeners gravitated towards. When you heard some of these home run calls, were you always hearing them for the first time, or did he run any by you?
Oh, absolutely. No, he would never tell me. Never. Sometimes if you look at some of them, if you listen to some of them, you'll either hear me laughing or you'll hear a dead silence.
That's what was, yeah.
And he always knew. But some of them, I laughed hysterically. He would never tell me. He said, I've got it. I have it. And people would give suggestions. By the end, people were writing in suggestions when a new person came. And by the end, the players were coming up to him in the back of the plane and saying, what are you going to say for me? You know, people that might never hit a home run wanted to know what his home run call was. It didn't start as that, guys. It started as something that was very internal, and there were only a few. I mean, Burn, Baby, Burn, that group hit home runs all the time. So there was Burn, Baby, Burn, and an A-bomb from A-Rod, which people complained about until Alex's mother said, I really love it. And so John said, well, if his mother likes it, then I'm going to keep doing it. Georgie Juiced one. That group deserved all those. And then it became, as John used to call it, a cottage industry.
I love that.
And that isn't how it started, but he made them for everybody. And once Nick Swisher came back to the back of the plane, because John was calling him Jolly Old Nick, I think it was. And Swisher didn't like it. And he came back and he said, can you think of something else? So the players got involved, and that's when he started with the Swishalicious, which Nick liked a lot. But that everybody had a hand in it afterwards. But it didn't actually start out like that. It started out for special people in special circumstances.
So I need to know now, what was the hardest one you ever laughed at? Because we all have our favorite.
See, I liked that whole group, that first one. I loved the Georgie Juiced one, and Burn Baby Burn has to be my favorite because I think that was the first. I loved the A-bomb from A-Rod. The other thing was the Jeter swing when he started talking about that. Those different kinds of descriptions that only John could come up with. Now everybody's trying to do it. But when John started it, it was just very few and far between. But, I mean, this is great and all of that. But I do want to stress that when John started, and for many, many years, he was as good as it got with play-by-play.
Yeah.
Never made a mistake. You could follow it if you closed your eyes and weren't watching the game. You would know exactly what happened by the way John described it. And I know the other things were important to a lot of people, but John was really top of the line with that.
No doubt. We're talking to the great Suzyn Waldman. Obviously, you covered the Yankees. He was doing play-by-play. When do you remember your first meeting with him, the first time you ever met John?
Oh, it was the WFAN. We've been friends for over 40 years.
Right.
John Sterling, in July, it was All-Star break of 1987. And Pete Franklin did not come to the Fan because he had had a heart attack, and they were having guest hosts for a week at a time. And during the All-Star break, John Sterling came up and did his talk show for a week, and I was his update person in the afternoon. And I remember this, what a fascinating person this must be. He stood up for 4 hours with his hand cupped over his ear and talking into a microphone that was like hanging down. And he did that for 4 hours. I said, what a fascinating person this must be. And in '89, when he joined the Yankees, we were really close friends from '87 on. We've been, I call him like my older brother. He really was like a brother to me.
I loved listening to you guys communicate during games, like almost doing a talk show. And one of the things that always jumped out at me was how you needed to teach him how to watch the baseball games on the road, how to use the MLB app, how to consume all these games, because he loved baseball so much. And now we've got this.
But he never did. He never had an iPad. I bought him an iPad, which I think is still sitting up in the booth somewhere in one of the cabinets. I bought it to him. We set it up and opened it. He was never on the internet. He had a flip phone.
Right.
He didn't want to be bothered. He said, there's enough going on. I don't need to do this. He was never online, ever. I tried. And I tried to get him to have a real phone so that he could get pictures, because I said, well, I'm going to send you a picture, but he had that little flip phone, so I couldn't do it. No, he was really happy the way he was. He loved his newspapers. He loved listening to the news on the radio, and that's how he lived. And that was absolutely perfect for him.
Evan and I were just discussing before Game 5 of the World Series, we looked over doing the broadcast from the Spanish booth and saw John Sterling sitting there reading a novel almost up until first pitch. And I'm nervous as a Yankee fan. I mean, this guy's about to broadcast the World Series. Was that commonplace for John?
Shaun, I got to tell you, I have a picture of him once in a day. I took a picture of it. He was next to me, and it was cold. It must have been in April, but it was an exciting game. And I look over in between innings. He loved to read. He always had a book, and he could read books over and over. And he loved the Robert Parker mysteries. He loved mysteries. And he would read all the time on the airplane, in between innings. That was one of his great passions. And so you always knew what to get John for his birthday or for Christmas, certain novels. And he must have read he had a pocketbook of Auntie Mame, the original, way back from the early 50s. He must have read that thing 20 times. I mean, because he'd laugh in the same places. He loved to read. It was a passion of him. And I don't think people know that. But, yeah, some people look at their notes or have a drink during the John would go back to his novel. But never missed a pitch, never missed a thing. Because he had, what people also don't know, he had a photographic memory. And he could actually recant stuff from years and years ago. And I'd say, who is this guy, Sam Birdbath, who's coming in the 8th inning? And he'd say, oh, he was a little lefty from Atlanta. And then he'd go back and he'd talk about where he went to school and all that. And I never heard of him. But John, I read it somewhere. He was one of those. He was... He recalled a lot. He knew a lot about this game. He knew as much about this game as anyone.
Maybe it's the talk show host in him and the talk show host in you, but I love the opinions, because you guys would just, if you didn't like a move, you guys would say it. If you didn't like the way the Yankees were playing defense, oh my good, he'd call it out. It felt like the talk show host experience that John had and you had almost enhanced the broadcast in a lot of ways.
Well, you know what John always thought about it, and I think this too. We knew to whom we were speaking. We are doing Yankee games for Yankees fans. It's not a national broadcast. So the people sitting at home are feeling the way we are feeling. And when John would say something, we never really got into the kind of broadcasters that go, well, it's 15-0, but isn't it a lovely day? That is not who we were, because that's not what New York fans want to hear, right. I think because I know that, Sam in the Bronx is sitting there thinking the same thing as John Sterling. What are they doing? And John had no compunction of doing that. And, I think the thing that bothered him the most was when somebody called him a homer. Because he got as angry as anybody and could rip this team as well as anybody.
Yeah.
But he did it in a way that, we're going to be better. He was saying it, and he was angry because that's how the fans felt. But there was always something positive at the end. It's going to be fine. But this is what you got to do now because this is terrible.
I picture him just 2 years ago. They run the bases like a bunch of drunks, and there was something so perfect about that, Suzyn.
There is, and it could only come out of them. I even looked at him, guys. I burst out laughing. I had to shut off my microphone. Because sometimes he would just do that. And it was so perfect. And that, of course, got quoted and all over Twitter, which he never bothered with because he didn't know what it was and couldn't get on. So he'd say, what does that tweet thing say? And he just was not connected. But he loved his Yankees, and he loved his sports, and he loved doing what he was doing.
One moment, and it was scary, and so I'm so glad it worked out and he wasn't seriously injured, was the foul ball incident where he gets hit by the foul ball. We see the video of it because of the Sterling cam. Aaron Judge comes up. He wants to see the video. What do you remember? Because I assume you were down on the field when this happened because it was the very end of the game.
I was down getting ready to go on the air.
Okay.
And I heard it. I heard him describe it. And I think it was Clay Holmes that came over to me and said, is John all right? And I said, yeah, he's fine. And then he started to laugh. And then they were all hysterical because he never stopped.
Right.
He just, ow, ow. And then, that hit me. And then when I saw where it hit him, and he just kept going. And it was just amazing. But once everybody found out he was all right, it really was funny. And they were all going around the clubhouse saying, ow.
Were there, for all the years you've done games with him, were you guys ever close to getting hit by a foul ball? Or was that like a 1 in a million shot when that happened?
Oh, no, not there. We were almost, there was one, Marwin Gonzalez hit a ball in Seattle that I thought was going to take his head off.
Really?
Right now, it landed, and I think that if they haven't filled up the hole yet, I think, in Seattle. It went right between the two of us. But John just keeps going. I go under the desk. John just keeps talking.
Yeah,
he would never. By the way, early on, before the Tigers moved to Comerica, in Tiger Stadium, you were right there. You were right there. At the, the screens they used to have that went up in back of home plate?
Yeah.
Went up to the – okay, that's where the press box was. And there was a netting in front of it and John wouldn't use his. That was when he was doing radio with Michael Kay. Michael Kay used it, but John said, no, that's fine.
Right.
Ernie Harwell never used it either, but his partner always did. So John was never afraid. He just kept going, and he just moved out of the way, except for that one time.
That one time.
John, obviously, one of the more unique things was never missing a game, Suzyn. It didn't matter the road trip. It didn't matter. He was there for us every single day. Now, you got to travel on the road with him. Background, what was John's favorite ballpark or city and least favorite ballpark and city, knowing he made all the trips?
Let's see. John actually loved everything. I'll tell you one he didn't love, and it's my least favorite, too. Wrigley Field. Oh, wow. Because it's impossible to get to the broadcast booth. You have to walk up sets of stairs, and now they've got an elevator somewhere in left field. But Wrigley Field is very tough if you're a broadcaster, particularly because you have to go through the stands. There's no way to get there. You have to go through the stands and then walk up many, many ramps and then up a little. I call it the ladder. It's like a stairway. Wow. And I was ripping it one time because the Yankee clubhouse is in right field. And I was out there climbing up these little stairs, and I said to John over the air, this place is awful. And an old guard came to me, and John heard him say it. He said, Suzyn, can I tell you something? And I said, what? And he said, Babe Ruth and George Halas both climbed these stairs. Does that make a difference? And John said, yes, Suzyn, it makes a difference. And it did. But that was the one that was tough for him. John also on the road. The thing about John is that people really adored him. If John said, for example, we're in Baltimore, oh, darling, we've got our favorite restaurant tonight. We can go to Prime Rib, which John loved. You'd be 100 people out there waiting for John to come to say hello. Every single time. We'd say people would show up because he was saying we're going to that restaurant.
Right. He called it. We're talking to the great Suzyn Waldman. Do you have, obviously we talked about the home runs, but just the other big moments he was involved in and called. Do you have a personal favorite call that John ever made?
I think it has to be the Jeter 3000th game.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of them because we both, when he hit that home run and had the 3000th hit,
right.
He did a perfect job, and he had tears coming down his face, and I was crying, and he was crying. When you see someone's whole career, we both met Derek Jeter when he was 18.
Right.
And when you watch someone's whole career like that, and Bernie the same way, and he never flinched. The call was absolutely perfect, and he had tears running down his face as he was doing it. Those kinds of things get me. It's not what he said because I don't remember what he said, but that is what I remember, that he did it perfectly while he was really emotional about it.
Well,
and I was, that's those kinds of things. I think also I was fascinated, and I wasn't doing radio then. I was still working for FAN and being a reporter. In '96, the World Series call, the first one, it was perfection. Go back and listen to what he said when Charlie Hayes caught that ball. And what happened and what he said. And that's something, he never wrote anything down, guys, ever,
Right. Mm-hmm.
ever. So what came out of him came out of his heart. And if you listen to it, it's absolutely spectacular.
One of the great voices in New York sports history. He'll forever be missed. We do appreciate you coming on today, Suzyn. Thank you very much.
Thank you for asking me.
You got it. The great Suzyn Waldman worked with John for many, many years. Obviously knew him for a long time, all the way back to the beginning days of WFAN. She mentioned the 3,000 hit call.
Yeah.
Perfection. Let's take a listen to it.
Let's
in
go.
case we forgot, this is Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit as called by the great John Sterling.
Here comes the 3-2 from Price. Swung on and hit in the air to deep left. That ball's high. It is far. It is gone. He's homered. Derek Jeter homers to tie the game. And there it is. Hit number 3,000. Derek Jeter has achieved another milestone in his Hall of Fame career. 15 playoff appearances, 12 All-Star games, 5 World Championships, and now the first Yankee to amass 3,000 hits. The captain, Derek Jeter.
And as he promised, Jorge Posada jumped over that railing. It was the first one to reach Derek Jeter. A magnificent milestone for a magnificent Yankee.
Well done.
You could hear the emotion in both voices.
Oh, absolutely. Because it's a great perspective Suzyn brings about how Jeter comes up, he's a kid. At least that's how they knew him at the time. He's a kid. He's, 18 years old when they draft him. And now he's working through the minor league system. And now you're seeing not even the end of his career, but the exclamation point on his career.
The passage of time.
No doubt. I am annoyed about something.
Okay.
It bothers me when this happens, and this happens way too often. When a Hall of Fame is late, when a Hall of Fame wastes way too much time by not inducting people who deserve it until they're no longer with us. John Sterling is a baseball Hall of Famer. John Sterling's voice and his broadcasting career is Hall of Fame worthy. And so he should have been inducted. Should have been inducted many years ago. He is not a Hall of Famer. They call it the Ford Frick Award. And
no, he should be.
He should be in. And it sucks that when he does get in, he's not here to celebrate that. And that annoys me when that happens, when guys and gals get honored and they're in the Hall of Fame and it's after that. Now, their family can enjoy it, and that's great. Yeah. But they're not a part of it. And John Sterling, and we've mentioned this before over the years, is a Hall of Famer. No, he just is.
Evan, there's a simple way to do the Hall of Fame test with broadcasters, and John Sterling passes this with flying colors. We obviously don't consume every game on radio, right? You sit there and you watch TV, and we'll hear Michael Kay call a game. Like, even with that 3,000th hit, and this is what's funny about Suzyn saying that John wasn't on Twitter and loved Twitter. What do we all do after big Yankee moments that we caught on TV? It's like instantaneous. What did Sterling sound like on the call? From the 3,000th hit to everything. That's a Hall of Fame test. How many radio broadcasts, no offense to all of them, does a moment happen that you watch on TV or you're in a ballpark and you go, I got to hear what Sterling had to say?
Well, not only that, because you're right about that, no one else, even the great Vin Scully, never had the fact that, hey, let's just create AI to hear what he would have said, which is what we started doing a month ago with the John Sterling machine. We missed him so much, it was like, what would he say for that home run by Ben Rice?
Exactly.
Or by whomever. So no doubt, Hall of Fame career he should be in. We'll get back to your calls coming up, 888-808-1019. We'll listen to some of his greatest calls that he's ever made. And we appreciate Suzyn joining us. Sweeny Murti will join us a little bit later on as well. And we'll get into the Knicks because tonight is a big night at Madison Square Garden.
And this Fan Focus is presented by Chef IQ. Watch the game, not the grill. Get your gear at chefiq.com. Mark Vientos homered twice, and Clay Holmes continued to emerge as old reliable. The Mets beat the Angels 5-1 yesterday. The Mets actually do win a series, albeit versus a team with the second worst record in baseball. Jason Dominguez had a home run and 2 hits in an inning alone yesterday as the Yankees pounded Baltimore for their third win in 3 tries versus the Birds, 11-3.
It is official. Fanatics Fest 2026 is back at the Javits Center in New York City this July 16th through the 19th. The first lineup of talent has been announced, featuring some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment, including Tom Brady, Kevin Hart, Jay-Z, Travis Scott, Aaron Judge, Kevin Durant, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, Mike Tyson, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, Diana Taurasi, Josh Hart, and many more. The world's #1 sports fan festival is back, bringing fans closer to the athletes they love through live moments, photo ops, autographs, and unforgettable experiences. Tickets are on sale now at fanaticsfest.com.
With the warm months just about here, it's time for a healthier you. Tiki's good buddy, John Gallucci Jr., CEO of JAG Physical Therapy, always tells Tiki how important it is to focus on their biomechanical chain to reduce injuries. Now is the time for you and your loved ones to turn to JAG to get stronger and function at a higher level. The dedicated team of physical therapists at JAG Physical Therapy will develop a plan specifically for you to help prevent injuries. And if you have an existing injury, their expertise and commitment will help you get back the life you live. Schedule your appointment today at jagpt.com. That's jagpt.com. And spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Windorama is making it easier than ever. During the spring refresh sale, save up to 30% on your window and door project. Plus, take advantage of low to no interest payment plans when you purchase and install with Windorama. It's simple. Book your free in-home consultation, shop from home, and let their local certified experts handle measurement and installation. Visit Windorama.com to book your free in-home consultation today.
This is John Sterling, voice of the New York Yankees on WFAN.
The 1-2. Swung on and hit in the air to left field. Spencer toward the line is there. He makes the catch. Ball game over. American League Championship Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Thank you for the memories, John. You will be missed.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
This Odyssey Sports Minute is sponsored by Prevagen. Prevagen, made for your brain. And I think all the people that think Joe Mazzulla should be fired by the Boston Celtics, something is wrong with their brains. I know that the Celtics blew a 3-1 lead and lost to the 76ers on Saturday night. The starting lineup was wonky in Game 7. Do people realize that the Celtics were the 2 seed this year in the Eastern Conference without Jason Tatum for much of the year? I'm Nick Costos.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. It makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
For 100 years, London Jewelers has been part of life's most meaningful moments, from engagements and anniversaries to milestones, big and small. We've helped mark the moments that matter the most to our customers. Generations of families have trusted London Jewelers for exceptional craftsmanship, timeless design, and service that lasts a lifetime. As we celebrate a century of excellence, we thank you for being part of our story, and we look forward to the moments still to come. We invite you to visit London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations. London Jewelers, celebrating 100 years of brilliance.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
As the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026, Bank of America knows how much hard work it takes to achieve a dream. So when it comes to owning a home, we're here to help. Get guidance and resources to buy a home you love, including up to $17,500 in select markets when combining down payment and closing cost grants. Visit BofA.com/home team. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
This is John D'Agostino from D'Agostino & Associates, the injury firm. Accident victims, I understand how an accident can turn your world upside down. You're in pain. You need medical care. You can't work. You're struggling to pay your bills, and you don't have a clue what your rights are. So what do? Call the first law firm that pops up on the internet? Look for the best website? Or say, hey, find me a lawyer. The options are endless, but the answers are simple. Ask around, read reviews, and go with your gut. Great law firms build great reputations. I built D'Agostino & Associates one client at a time by doing the right thing for accident victims just like you. Our clients know my team cares, and we're going to fight to get you every dollar you deserve. So call me today at 888-24-LAW-24. That's 888-24-LAW-24. We have offices throughout New York and New Jersey, and we'll come to you. I've been there, and I'll be there for you. D'Agostino Law. Bite back.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
I've got to share this. Nugenix Total T2 has been a game changer in helping boost total testosterone. My energy is up. I feel leaner, stronger, and more like myself again. Nugenix Total T2 uses a brand new formula fueling performance in and out of the gym. Join the thousands of men who are seeing results.
Text MAIN to 215-215 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2. MAIN to 215-215.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Birdie told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust a Nemu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
Just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. You know, after years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. Red Pocket Mobile gives you 3 major 5G networks to choose from. Switching cities? Switch your network. That's like calling your own Audible. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
The Rico Brogna podcast is proudly sponsored by Takara Fuji Apple Chew High, the sparkling cocktail that blends shochu spirits with delicious flavors of fruits from Japan. Whether it's Citi Field or your favorite spot, raise the apple.
New York.
The home of Yankees radio is WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, an Odyssey sports station.
Evan and Tiki on this kind of emotional, but you want to celebrate Monday. We'll get to a lot of the sports coming up. The Knicks and the 76ers beginning their series tonight. The New York Yankees making the gutsy decision to tell Anthony Volpe, you're a minor leaguer. We are not calling you up. We'll get to all that. But earlier this morning, we got the news that John Sterling passed away at the age of 87. And so I mentioned at the top of the show, we have a complete catalog list of every John Sterling home run call he ever made. And I played a little bit earlier my personal favorite John call, which was the Scott Brocious home run in the 2001 World Series. Rami, who is filling in for Shaun, filling in for Tiki, what is your favorite? If you had to pick one, because you're a diehard Yankee fan, your favorite all-time John Sterling call?
My favorite, I do think, and there's a few that come to mind. My favorite was the 2009 World Series because A-Rod hits a home run in Game 3, and it's the first time that a home run ever was reviewed in the World Series, and A-Rod hits it off a camera, so they originally called it a double. The camera's kind of hanging over the fence in Philadelphia, and then A-Rod stops at second. They go to this long review. It wasn't expedited the way it is now, and they come back from the review, and John goes, well, it's an A-bomb from A-Rod nonetheless. After the whole, review, he still had to do the home run call. So that was great. And then his last series when he comes back in 2024, there was just a sequence that I was playing for you earlier in the day where the Yankees clinched the AL East against Baltimore, but they have this inning where they run away with it. They're up 1-0, and then Austin Wells walks to get on, and he's like, oh, how do you like that? Which is just one of those calm. And then Stanton hits a bases-clearing double, a 3-run double and he goes on the way to taking them to the American League East Championship. So those calls stick with you because it was the whole sequence. But I have one here because I'm sure you want to hear him and not me imitate him.
Your imitation ain't bad.
Is the Derek Jeter, obviously my favorite Yankee, was when he passed Lou Gehrig on the all-time hits list in 2009.
I was there. Jeter did so many things. Like the 3,000 hit thing was big because it was a home run. Like, I think it would have been big either way. It's a 3,000th hit. But what added to it, and we just played it before the break, you can rewind on the Odyssey app, was, wow, it's a home run. And Derek Jeter wasn't exactly a slugger. But I do remember when he passed Lou Gehrig, it became a big deal.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
All-time hits leader for the New York Yankees.
And he did it, if memory serves, on September 11th.
That is correct. And to me, it was more Jeter than anything else because, what was it? It was the hit the other way.
Jeterian, right?
Correct. And that's what's great about this call.
All right, let's hear it.
It'll be a 2-0 to Jeter. Swung on, hit, base hit, over first, down the right field line. Jeter rounds first and holds on. He's done it. Derek Jeter has done it. And he's done it in typical Jeter fashion with that Jeterian swing, lining one between the first baseman Scott and the foul line. History has been made on Friday, September 11th, 2009. Derek Jeter with 2,722 hits is now number one on the Yankees hit parade.
Great call. Great call.
Awesome.
Yeah, seeing the entire and broadcasting the entire Derek Jeter career, because you mentioned with Suzyn the streak that he had, which is unbelievable. Didn't miss a game for like decades. And then when he finally missed a game, I think it was like his daughter's graduation.
College graduation, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Worthy cause of breaking the streak. Hey, I'm going to my daughter's graduation. So I think because Jeter's career was in the midst of the streak, John Sterling literally called every single moment of Derek Jeter's Hall of Fame career.
Isn't that incredible?
Think about that for a second. That's nuts.
And when you think about it, gave a Yankees win after every single save Mariano Rivera had in his career.
That too, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, if you think about Mariano Rivera's career as well, John's streak was in the midst of it.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Absolutely incredible. Quick thought on the Knicks opponent. We'll get back to your phone calls, and we'll do a little bit more Knicks later. On Friday, we were sitting here and having a blast kind of debating who the Knicks fan wants to face in the Eastern Conference semifinals. Because most of the radio station and most Knicks fans were saying, hey, I think we match up better with the Boston Celtics, which from a basketball standpoint, completely understood as the Sixers were starting to get healthy and they turned that best of 7 series around. But my thought on Friday was DNA. I said this to Badingo. I was on with him on Saturday as well. The Celtics still have that championship DNA, and the Philadelphia 76ers, as well as they look when they're healthy, I don't trust them in a big spot. So I'm sitting there Saturday night. I got the game on. It's got my full attention, and I'm watching it half as an IBO, but half, I'll admit, as a member of the coalition of Nick haters.
Sure. It was, it was a weekend night. You were allowed.
I'm allowed. And so when the game starts, and I get word, we all get word, Jason Tatum isn't playing, I'm thinking to myself, all right, should my view on this change? I mean, if Tatum's not playing in a Game 7, then God knows his status for Game 1 on Monday. God knows his status for the rest of the series. And as the game started, I still was hard-headed into, I just don't trust the Sixers.
Really? See, I flipped, Evan.
You flipped immediately?
Listen, we all saw, obviously, in Game 6 when Tatum hobbled off, but there was still this thought of there being precautionary. When he didn't play in Game 7, how could I have the thought? Our thought was also, well, Embiid never stays healthy. You knew right then and there was not a world where Jason Tatum was likely going to be healthy for the duration of a 2-week series.
Time out. When Jason Tatum wasn't healthy through the 25-26 season, how'd the Celtics do?
They were great.
Weren't they better than the Knicks?
Okay.
Or at least right there with the Knicks?
They were right there with the Knicks, but there's a
So then what are we talking about?
No, because, Evan, there's a difference. When it comes to these best-of-7 series, you need your closer to step up. And Jaylen Brown had his moments, and obviously the Knicks ended up blowing him out when they didn't have Brown earlier in the season. You need both of those guys clicking, I think, to get through what is a deep Knicks team if we're going to give respect to the Knicks.
The Knicks, see, here's the way I viewed this on Friday. I remain the same here on Monday. I think the Knicks are better than both teams. I think the Knicks are beating either team in a best-of-7 series. And I think a lot of Knicks fans felt that way, where I have a confidence in both, but, hey, we're sitting here on a Saturday night. Who do I prefer? I look at the Philadelphia 76ers, and I want to do two things real quick before we get back to your calls. Number one, I pay them respect. Because what they just accomplished, I don't care how banged up Tatum is, and I don't care how dumb Joe Mazzulla is with his starting lineup in Game 7, which I still can't get over. The Philadelphia 76ers erased a 3-1 deficit and won Game 5 and Game 7 on the road, and that should be commended.
Not only that, they were down 12 in Game 5
yes,
or whatever
in the third quarter, they were down by as many as 12 in the second half, and everything changed. So not only do they win the final 3 games, it was really 2 games and a quarter where they completely turned their season around. I am not poo-pooing it. I am not saying it's a no biggie. I commend the Sixer fans. And you know what? You should be thrilled because we don't think about this nor care about this, but they never beat the Boston Celtics.
Right.
This has been a bugaboo for them. So they have every right to be excited and pumped up, and I congratulate them. With that said, and here's the funny part. I know the Sixer fan knows I'm right. I know deep down the Sixer fan knows what I'm about to say is spot-on analysis. And I know deep down Knicks fans agree with me too. The Philadelphia 76ers are frauds until proven otherwise. That's who they are. Joel Embiid is a loser until proven otherwise. Joel Embiid has been the epitome of a big regular season superstar who, when it matters the most, either doesn't play or comes up small. There's a reason why Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers, this incarnation of them, they've never been to a conference finals. It's why Sal Licata, to his credit, nicknamed them so brilliantly the Semi-Sixers. Because it's accurate. It's who they are. And so I commend them. I give them credit. Is this team better than what they were 2 years ago? No doubt, especially with Paul George playing the way he's playing. Yeah. And VJ Edgecombe has had a tremendous rookie season and made a monstrous impact in that Boston series. So are the Sixers better today than they were 2 years ago? 1,000%. But I know, just like you know, just like every last Sixer fan knows, your best player, he's a fake tough guy, and he's a loser. And look, he has a chance to go prove us all wrong. But he's not. And the reason I know he's not is because he's not playing all 7 games. First of all, if you even get to 7 games. He's not. And I don't like predicting injuries, but he's never healthy.
He was already limping at the end of Game 7.
He had 4 injury scares in the midst of Game 7. 4 different ones. Oh, my God, a teammate fell into my knee. Oh, my God, I'm on the ground. Oh, my shoulders hurt. There's always something wrong with him. And Knicks fans, don't let these little whiny, you-know-what's down in Philly change the story after you smoke their asses. It doesn't matter if Embiid's healthy or not. You beat him. I don't want to hear the injury excuse. They're not allowed to make injury excuses because all the guy is one big walking injury. And they know it. I ain't saying anything out of turn. They know it. They want to be confident. They want to hope they can beat the New York Knicks, but they're not going to beat the New York Knicks. The 76ers are not going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since the Allen Iverson era. It ain't happening. So that's why, at the end of the day, I viewed Philadelphia, despite being more talented than Boston and despite posing some matchup issues for this team, as lesser of a threat. Because their DNA, and I just don't mean the franchise or the logo, their best player's DNA is that of a loser. And so that's why don't worry about it. I mean, you should worry about it. It's a playoff series. Well, you never know. But I am confident, and we'll make our official specific predictions later on, but the Knicks will win this series. They're not losing to Joel Embiid and the Philadelphia 76ers.
You also failed to mention one other important thing about the series 2 years ago compared to a series now. Yeah, the 76ers might be a better team than they were 2 years ago when the Knicks disposed of them, but the Knicks are a better team than they were 2 years ago.
Both teams are better.
Yes.
And if I was too harsh in describing the Philadelphia 76ers, I want you to meet your enemy. I want you to know about your enemy. Here is, and it's random. I don't know this gentleman, but here's a random Philadelphia 76ers talk show host talking about you people, Knicks fans.
I think their fans are just the worst people on the planet, and I appreciate how passionate they are, but they are just mouth-breathing dumb fucks.
Oh, hey. Oh. That needed to be dumped. Someone needed to take care of that. I apologize. I hit the button, but there was curse words used to describe There were curse words used to describe Knicks fans.
And Evan Roberts definitely sent that audio to somebody
and
didn't tip them off.
It needed to be done. It needed to be beeped. You know, I sent plenty of audio with beeps.
Did you mention that it needed to be beeped?
I never have to. And whenever I send the clips, it's listened to, it's put in, and beeps are known to put in when the word bleep F words are used.
So that you heard there, Rami? Zero accountability from Evan.
Well, I mean, I send clips every day.
You hear an F word.
I'm going to take the L on this?
Yes, you got to tip them off.
I'm not taking an L. By the way, that's not the only clip I've sent today that features curse words. So I'm going to have to hold off playing any of my clips because, hey, they may not have been beeped.
Yeah.
Well, bottom line was it was a random Sixer fan or talk show host calling you people, Knicks fans, mouth-breathing dumb bleeps.
Sounded familiar. I don't know who that was.
I don't know who he is, but that's what they think of you. Anyhow, 888-808-1019. Let's honor the great John Sterling, which we'll continue to do throughout the day. Joel is calling for Bread Bank. What's up, Joel?
Hey, Evan. Hey, Shaun. How you fellas doing?
What's up, Joel?
I've called in a long time.
Appreciate you calling in. What's up, man?
Yeah, just wanted to say thank you to the legend, John Sterling. He gave me some of the best memories I had as a baseball fan. Long drives weren't bad when he was on because he just had a way of describing the game. Like we were there, he just made the time melt away. I remember turning on the TV and turning on the radio, muting the TV just because I didn't want to hear Mike, but I wanted to hear John. Nothing to Mike, but, John he was infamous. And the most fondest memory I had, I was in college. It was a wild card game. Yankees were down 3-0, and Sir Didi steps up, ties it up with a 3-run shot. And I don't know if you guys have that call, but it was in 2017, the AL, it was a wild card game.
Oh, God, yes. That one we can easily find because I'm sure I've heard the call because one thing about this radio station, I heard Gio mention this earlier, we have probably played more John Sterling clips, and his voice has probably been heard more as a play-by-play announcer than anybody else because he's been around so long, and Mike and Chris certainly started it by playing his home run calls the following day, and we've all followed suit. But I was in the building that day when Didi hit the home run, and what I always think about with that home run is it's the loudest Yankee Stadium was to that point, the loudest I'd ever heard the new Yankee Stadium, even including their World Series in 2009. But the excitement, I'm sure you'll hear from John Sterling, is incredible. You want to hear it?
Yeah, actually, this was the only one I heard today before the show.
Here we go.
Let's hear it.
Sean's already heard it, but it's new to you if you haven't. Didi's game-tying 3-run home run from the wild card game.
Now Santana is at the belt, the payoff. Swung on and drilled to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It ties the game. Didi Gregorius hits a 3-run home run in the right field seats. Yes, indeedy. Didi Gregorius makes Yankee fans euphorious. He hits a 3-run home run to tie the game at 3 in the bottom of the first.
That's when I figured that Yankee team was special. When Didi hit that home run.
They can't lose to the Twins, can they? Bam.
No. And then they're down and they come back.
But that moment is what I'm talking about. We all watched that moment on TV, and what did you do immediately after Didi hit the home run?
I got to hear how John called it.
We all thought the same thing. That's why he's special.
No doubt. Let's go to Billy in Oceanside. Hey, Billy.
Evan, how are you? What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
Listen, we're an hour and 10 minutes into the show, and now I'm going to give you the best Sterling call in the history of John Sterling.
Go ahead.
It's the John Sterling, Brandon Drury call. I don't know if you heard it.
Oh.
I don't want to ruin it.
No. You've requested it. And what I said at the top of the show for just tuning in is that the great John Schweibecker, who spent many years working at WFAN during the pandemic, put together a complete list of every John Sterling home run call. And we have it. And so on this one day only, in honor of John, we would take requests throughout the day. So if you want to name a random Yankee, we will give you the home run call. So he says Brandon Drury, not Chris Drury, Brandon Drury, and his brief time as a New York Yankee. Well, you're going to get to hear Brandon Drury as a New York Yankee.
Swung on and drilled to deep left center. It is high. It is far. It is gone. His first Yankee home run, a 2-run blast to left center. Aaron's the judge, but Brandon's the jury. He hits a 2-run blast to left center, and the Yankees take a 4-1 lead.
I forgot about the Aaron's the judge.
You didn't know where it was going?
I now that he said it, I remember, but off the top of my head, I'm thinking, like, what was it again?
What could it be for Brandon Drury? There it is.
I'm going to have another request. There's another one I'm trying in the back of my brain to get, and I can't come up with it.
That's all right. We're making Rami work today. Go ahead.
Rami, do we have Bubba Crosby?
Bubba Crosby.
That was like a little fan favorite Yankee. I'm curious.
Now, do you remember him having a home run call? Because I'm going to warn you about something.
He had multiple home runs in Yankee. He had to.
No, that's not the question. Do you remember him having a home run call?
I don't know.
Okay. The reason why I don't think he would is because I specifically remember Bubba Crosby in 2005. 2005 was right around the moment he started giving a home run call to everybody. As Suzyn mentioned when she joined us last hour, it started with Bernie. It started with Matsui. It started with A-Rod. Then it went to Posada. It didn't go to everybody until, I'm going to say, like 07, 08. So there's a good chance that Bubba Crosby did not make the cut. Nothing against him. It just didn't become the cottage industry we've talked about until a little bit later on.
Which would make sense why I'm not remembering. Good call. I was just trying to think of like my classic favorite random Yankee.
I'm just letting you know. Yeah, you really got to go like 06, 07, and beyond.
Yeah.
And I think what adds to it is in 2012, 2013, 2014, the Yankees weren't great. Like there was a lot of just random New York Yankees that you're like, damn, was that guy a New York Yankee?
The Hiroki Kuroda Yankees.
That's right. He was good.
He was good. I'm just saying. You think of that era of Yankee baseball.
Oh, so it's like the Horace Clark era?
Yeah. The Hiroki Kuroda Yankees.
Yeah. You know who jumps out at me? The random New York Yankee that jumps out at me from their time of being kind of just not that good? Because he was a good ball player, just wasn't with the Yankees. Vernon Wells.
Yep. And that's a great home run call, too.
Now, do you remember Vernon Wells' home run call?
1,000%.
Is it possible that John then recycled it for Austin Wells later in his career? Is that possible?
Well, I know there was a different version.
All right, pull up Vernon Wells, Rami. Let me know when you have it. But it's definitely a Vernon Wells call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you have me second guessing.
No, I'm not second guessing anybody. I'm just saying, is it possible?
Well,
and I don't blame Johnny. At thousands of home run calls, did he start to recycle a Wells for a Wells?
Now we're gonna hear it, but it's all's Wells that ends Wells with Austin Wells, right?
Yeah.
Vernon Wells, I thought was the Bronx's Vernon.
Oh, let's find out.
All right.
The pitch is lined down the left field line, and that ball is gone. Vernon Wells had a bullet right down the line, soaring into the lower seats in left. Oh, the Bronx is Vernon.
Bam.
Vernon Wells, it's his third of the year, and the Yankees now trail 5-3.
There you go. The Bronx is Vernon.
The Bronx is Vernon. That's a great call.
It's a great call.
Underratedly awesome.
I found a Bubba Crosby home run, but it was not on that list, so I'm assuming there's no
I think Evan's
name
right.
thing to it.
No, the cutoff was around 06, 07. I think poor Bubba just missed it. But it's like
there's a lot he could have done there.
Exactly. I'll tell you this story. And you know what? I'm going to save this story for Sweeny Murti, who's going to join us in a few minutes. But put it this way. There have been a lot of made-up John Sterling home run calls over the years.
What do you mean made up?
You know what? I'll let Sweeny describe this story.
Okay. That's
Sweeny
a good
will
tease.
tell you. Sweeny will join us in a couple of minutes. We'll get back to your phone calls at 888-808-1019. More on the Yankees' decision to send down Anthony Volpe, and we will get you set for Knicks Sixers, which starts tonight. Our friends at Town Fair Tire remind you that at Town Fair Tire, you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires. From Connecticut to Maine, nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
As you can tell, Tiki Barber is not here today. He's on the road frequently, and that's why he loves Sloman's ShieldLink system. Look, he juggles a lot in life. He's always on the go. Tiki values feeling safe, but also knowing that his family is safe when he's not with them. So he turns to Sloman's, and Sloman's put in the ShieldLink system at Tiki Barber's home. Tiki has this smart home security solution that combines safety, convenience, and peace of mind. He manages it right from his phone. I see him do it. Dog's got to go out. Let me unlock the door so the in-laws can let him out. Look, cameras, garage door control, lighting, Alexa control system, audio control with Apple Music, the doorbell camera, CO2 smoke, fire detection, all of it. Experience the future of home security and automation with the Sloman's ShieldLink system. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME. That's 1-800-ALARM-ME or visit Slomans.com. And this portion of the program was sponsored by Bet365.
This is John Sterling, voice of the New York Yankees on WFAN. Now Rivera is set. And here's the payoff. Swung on and grounded to second. Cano fields, throws to first, in time. Ball game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win. The New York Yankees have reached the pinnacle of the baseball world after winning 103 games, the most in baseball this season. They defeated the Twins in the American League Division Series. They defeated the Angels in the American League Championship Series. And now they've defeated the Phillies in the World Series. It's their 27th World Championship, the most of any team in any sport in the history of professional sports.
Thank you for the memories, John. You will be missed.
With Bet365 Early Payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey.
Calling all hoops fans. Ready for the NBA playoffs? Get in on the action throughout basketball's most exciting time of the year with BetMGM, an authorized gaming operator of the NBA. From same-game parlays to live bets, you can call your shots during any play. Rooting for your favorite players? You'll find all sorts of markets for betting on any star's performance on any given night of the playoffs. Don't miss a single highlight or buzzer-beating shot by getting all your picks in with BetMGM. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. Make your bets and experience the thrill of the NBA playoffs like never before. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older to wager and physically present in New York only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Hi, I'm Patty, founder of Awesome Tex. I started with a big idea to give old clothes a new life by turning them into recycled fibers and threads. Everyone told me that this was going to be impossible, but Chase for Business believed in me. They gave me a lot of guidance from the beginning.
Get financial guidance from bankers in the New York community and convenient digital tools all in one place. Learn more at chaseforbusiness.com. Make more of what's yours. Real customers compensated. JPMorgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Injured in an accident? Your case in the hands of one lawyer may settle for $100,000, but in the hands of the right law firm could be worth millions. The Rothenberg Law Firm has been representing injury victims for over 50 years, winning and collecting billions for our clients. And we're not stopping now. The Rothenberg Law Firm, 1-800-624-8888, or visit us at injurylawyer.com.
Be a lawyer for injured ones, injurylawyer.com.
Been putting off some much-needed painting on the house? Well, stop waiting. Time is running out to get 10% off your painting project. Take advantage of Serta Pro Painters' spring sales event before May 15th. Call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's Serta with a C.
I'm Piera Palazzolo,
VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Diving for that grounder got you grounded? Oof, we've got specialists for that. Layup? Take you down? We've got specialists for that. With nearly 50 Castle Connolly top doctors, Orland & Cohen specialists are considered among the best in the nation by their peers, which can mean a better outcome for you. From Staten Island to Southampton, our network is open 7 days a week, so you can feel better, faster. Visit OrlandCohen.com.
The most important meal of the day just got better at Dunkin'. Now you can get a medium hot or iced coffee, 6 crispy, delicious hash browns, and a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, all for $6. That's a full breakfast meal for $6. 6 crispy golden hash browns, a warm, delicious bacon, egg, and cheese, and a medium coffee to start your day right. Do breakfast the Dunkin' way and order Dunkin's $6 meal deal. No substitutions. Participation at times may vary. Limited time offer. Cannot be combined with other offers. Exclusions and terms apply.
Welcome to 215 Maple Drive. We just put this property on the market.
Love the crown molding.
Oh, wait until you see the walk-in closets and the bathroom tile.
Does it have Verizon Fios? You know, 100% fiber internet?
No Fios, but it looks like it's got cable. Let's check out the kitchen.
No Fios? Yeah, no thank you.
Don't you want to see the rest? Okay, bye-bye.
Get Verizon Fios, because when you're moving, it's 100% or nothing.
Sports here, the Fan.
I do want to give Shaun credit, and I guess I'll get some credit too for a correct prediction from over the weekend. The New York Yankees took on the Baltimore Orioles. It was Pete Alonso's return to New York. And number one, there were like no Met fans there. So any idea that Met fans were going to show up at Yankee Stadium to like cheer Pete Alonso, that did not occur. Yeah. There were no Met fans there. There was no reaction from Pete Alonso when he was announced for the first time. But on Friday, Shaun Morash made this prediction, which I joined in on. Take a listen.
He'll homer this weekend.
Think so?
At least one.
Yeah, I think Pete's going to have a big weekend. And I think it'll annoy Met fans more than Yankee fans. You'll win the games anyway.
Right.
And we'll say, who's the Pete? Stuck with Mark Vientos at first base. Yeah. So, I mean, you nailed it. He hits a home run in his first at-bat, hits a home run on game 2, so ends up having a pretty good weekend, and the Yankees win either way. And so it's Met fans complaining more than anybody.
Just say, ironically, him and Vientos, went tit for tat with home runs this weekend.
They did. Here's the thing about Vientos and Alonso. So Vientos hit 2 home runs on Sunday, and that was really big. But Mark Vientos' defense made Pete Alonso look like Rico Brogna.
Fair point.
You know what I'm saying?
Fair point.
Like, there was a line drive that went right through his glove, and naturally, everyone's thought is, Pete makes that catch. There was a ball thrown to first base that was bounced by Bo Bichette, a very easy scoop.
That Pete makes.
And, right. So, Pete hits his home runs. Yankee fans don't give a crap, and Met fans do. That's essentially how the weekend went.
Did it strike you now that he returned to Yankee Stadium and seeing him here, how oddly, like, it just feels normal now? I don't know.
This is the way sports works. A guy will leave, because more times than not, guys leave. Very rare a days do you have the Derek Jeters of the world or the Aaron Judges and the Mariano Riveras where their entire careers with one team. Even the great player that stays with the team for a long time, they eventually end up somewhere else. Tom Brady, great example of it. And usually it takes about a week or two. And then it's like, I can't envision him not wearing that jersey.
It's weird. Yeah, he just looks like an Oriole now.
He
not
does.
Even
He's
it's strange.
I mean, DeGrom with the Texas Rangers.
It's true. It's true.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And I am going tomorrow night. I am going to Yankee Stadium.
Look at you.
To see Jacob DeGrom face the New York Yankees.
So you have now proven that is where Met legend you lie more DeGrom than Alonso forever.
Why is that?
because you just had, including tonight, 4 opportunities to go see Pete Alonso at Yankee Stadium. But DeGrom starting, you get right into that place.
Well, okay, 2 things. Number one, DeGrom is my favorite Met, more so than Pete was. So
You
I don't
grew the
think
beard
that-
for Pete, though.
I love Pete. I mean, you could love multiple people, but love someone more than the other.
But you've made a direct call here. DeGrom means that much more to you. You're making sure you get to that stadium.
Listen, I love James Garfield, but I think Abe Lincoln was a better president. Right? I mean,
Okay.
2 things can be true. And also, when you go to see a batter, like if you go to the ballpark to see a batter, you may see them 3 or 4 times. And in totality, it may last a combined 2 minutes, something you and your wife are very familiar with.
Is that necessary on a Monday?
Not really. If you're going to see a pitcher, they're starting most of the game. Now, granted, Jake will be out after 5.
Yep.
But nevertheless, think about the amount of time you're watching the player that you went to go see. So I also think it just makes more sense to go watch a pitcher if you're going to the ballpark just to see a pitcher versus a position player where they may only get 3 or 4 plate appearances.
That's true. And there's always the chance you buy those tickets expecting to see Pete and the Orioles decide, yeah, we're going to sit him down today.
Yeah, that's not happening.
It happens sometimes.
It could. But I also look at it this way. It's a beautiful night, and it's Yankees Rangers.
Of course.
And not only that, see, you forgot the other part. Not that he's my all-time favorite Met, but I get Brandon Nimmo.
True. Little 2-for-1 deal.
I got a little big Nim. So I need you to think about this because I don't know the correct answer, and I'll ask you tomorrow. Am I allowed to show up at Yankee Stadium with a DeGrom Met jersey?
Yes, you are.
That's okay?
Yes, you are. Because it's
I don't like wearing jerseys of teams not involved. Not a fan of that.
But you're representing a player that is involved. So although it's not a Rangers DeGrom jersey, I actually think that's where you get the pass.
That's okay?
I do.
So
I don't have an issue with that.
I will not get crap from Yankee fans if I walk in there?
No, you're going to get crap for just being a Met fan and your season sucker. But you know that going in when you wear that.
I have not worn my DeGrom jersey since he left as a free agent. I haven't burnt it. I haven't thrown it away.
Well,
but
it's a good time to break it out.
This would be the time to break it out. Well, Jake versus the Yankees on an 80-degree Tuesday night.
Love it.
Let's go to George in Mineola. Good to hear from you, George. What's up?
Biggest Yankee fan in Mineola. Evan, I haven't spoken to you personally since the Joe days. I don't know why. I could never get through to you.
Well, I'm glad you called in because you are the biggest Yankee fan in Mineola. I know that. I've told people that when I meet people from Mineola. I say, do you know George? He's the biggest.
There you go. Well, listen, also, I have you. I think I told you this when I met you guys a few times. Tiki I met at a Met game about a year or so ago. He's following my TV show, Jimmy's and Jenny's, which I did the pilot. I'm trying to sell it. And I have an episode that I'm writing with you and Evan. I mean, you and Joe as guests. I told you guys I was going to do that. I'm going to throw Tiki in that too. I just have to get it picked up.
Well, best of luck. We would be honored. Best of luck, my friend.
I'd get slightly better phone service.
No, this is not a George thing.
Not a
So
George
there's
thing?
been phone line issues for days now. And I'm trying to make the decision of, do you fight through it and allow the caller to make their point, especially on a day like
It's
today?
on our end?
It is on our end.
I apologize.
Yeah, I heard it with Craig on Friday, and it's a tough spot because I do want to hear from the people, especially on a day like today. So here's what I will say to try to kind of cut the baby on this thing.
All right.
I would say make your point quick.
I got you. Okay.
Just so, because the phone line, and it is an us problem. It is not a George problem. It's not a caller problem. It is a station problem that we are trying to address, or at least in theory, we're trying to address it.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't think it was on our end because Suzyn sounded great.
Yeah. No, it's a weird thing. So I appreciate it, and we do want to hear from you, but try to make the point. Don't ask how we're doing.
I don't think the hotline is an issue. I think it's a different line.
I
That's
got you.
why.
I didn't realize. Okay.
There you go. Oh, by the way, before we get back to your calls, do you want to hear the clip of the Sixer radio host ripping Knick fans with the proper bleep?
Oh, the clean version's out?
Yeah, clean version. Because
all right,
I've been told that on YouTube, there's
Allegedly
obviously
the clean version.
Allegedly the clean version. I've been told on YouTube there is no dump button.
Yeah, they heard it.
So everybody in the YouTube chat heard the curse word, and a buddy of mine cut the little moment where I dive for the dump button. I guess there's a moment where I hear it and I'm like, and I dive for the button, which me and Rami both hit, I think, at around the exact same time. It was very quick. We were quick like a cat. Or like Henrik Lundqvist stopping a goal in Game 7. You like that?
I like that. He was great in Game 7.
He was great in Game 7s. The opposite of Joel Embiid until the other night.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite.
Good point.
Here is a random Sixer broadcaster talk show host talking about you, the New York Knicks fan.
I think their fans are just the worst people on the planet. And I appreciate how passionate they are, but they are just mouth-breathing dumb fuck.
Oh, I got so nervous. I got nervous. I was like, I hope the beep is there. So, yeah, that's what they think of you. That's what they think of Knicks fans. Now,
This is the city of Philadelphia, man. Just trash.
I say a lot of bad things about Knicks fans. I would never say that. That's too much.
Now, here's the thing about Knicks fans. Even if you're not
Spike sucks.
Who? They're one of us still. They're New York sports fans, even if you don't like the Knicks. Well, that means we're all mouth breathers then, because what makes a Knicks fan more of a mouth breather than any other fan?
Yeah, I think some of the fan bases act a little bit different, but for the most part, we're New Yorkers.
Yeah. The same DNA is there.
I think what bothers the Philly fan about the Knicks fan, and this is different, not that it hasn't happened, but it's uniquely different right now, is the way the Knicks fan pushed the Philly fan around 2 years ago and took over their building. Now, I think there was a reason for that. I think the reason for that was the Sixers were not believed in.
Mm-hmm.
The fans didn't like the team. And so tickets were just so readily available that it was easy for the Knicks fan to jump right in and take over the building.
And the Sixer fans that did still want to go and did still believe could do nothing about it because they didn't have any strength in numbers.
There's nothing they could do.
Right.
Now, have Met fans taken over Citizens Bank Park before? Of course they have. But they weren't able to do it in the postseason because the Philly fan was so there.
Right.
Have Giant fans taken over the old Vet or the Link before? They have before. They just haven't recently because the Eagle fan won't allow that to happen.
And we don't want to go there.
The 76er fan allowed it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bitter about it and angry about it, and they know there's not much they can do about it. And so I think that's a part of where a lot of this anger comes from. It's a helpless feeling that they're not used to because they don't deal with that right now with the Phillies and the Eagles, and probably not with the Flyers either, where someone can walk into their building and just take over the way the Knicks fans did 2 seasons ago.
The Knicks are already up in the series from this standpoint. This part, whether it's hearing that on Philly radio or just Embiid speaking about it, it was in their Sixers' head immediately after they won Game 7 when Knicks fans taking over their building.
Immediately. More on that a little bit later on. Let's go to Joe in Elmwood Park. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Evan, how you doing?
Good, man. What's up?
First of all,
Yeah, that one's too bad. I apologize. We just couldn't even get the words out. If we get the words out, we'll take a listen to you. But joining us right now, guy who was a part of the radio station for a very long time, knew John Sterling certainly well. You remember him joining Joe and I 2-3 times a week where we would yell at him and say, how come the Yankees haven't done this and this? So I'll bring him in with a familiar discussion, and you don't have to answer it. Hey, Sweeny, why'd they send Volpe down? Hello, Sweeny. How are you?
I'm wonderful, guys. How are you today?
Thank you very much for joining us. Obviously, you had a chance to know John, meet John, work with John. Tell me about what kind of person and personal work with John Sterling was during your experience.
I mean, he was, he loved doing the show, right? Like everything was such a great production for him. I think he loved the atmosphere of what he got to do. He got to go to Yankee Stadium every day, and everybody loved him, right? They're calling out his name, and he is soaking it all in. He lived for it. And it's all like a big Broadway production for John. The lead up to the game itself. And it was just all, he lived for every part of that. He lived and breathed with the game, right? And you could tell that if you were listening. And I got a chance to sit next to him a few times when it was going on. And you sit there and be like, boy, he really is annoyed that the Yankees are losing, 8-0 right now. Or he really did have such a great time calling 4 home runs today. And I think that came through to the listeners. I think one of the greatest things that you can say about people on the radio, and we all know a lot of people like this. People say, what are they like? I said, they're exactly what they sound like, right? And that's a great compliment because your natural personality is coming through. And John was like that. You could tell, you didn't even have to hear, you hear people say like, oh, he doesn't say the score enough. All you got to do is listen to the tone of John's voice for 10 seconds, and you know if the Yankees are winning or losing the game. He felt it that much for you guys. And the wins and the losses, the homers, they all sounded so genuine. And it was, he was definitely feeling all part of that. And it was all part of the show for John. He loved the production of it.
Sweeny, obviously getting to sit next to John and be that close to him. When you first get to meet and work with John, what surprised you the most about him?
That's a good question, Shaun. I don't know if there's much about a surprise. It's just that, I guess the biggest surprise, and maybe it's not if you as you get to know him, is that John was, John didn't like evolve with technology, and he was perfectly okay with it, right? Like he was reading a story in the newspaper. Like that's what like the rest of us found out 20 hours ago on Twitter, and he's reading about it in the morning paper, and he's perfectly fine with that. He's preparing his notes for a game at let's say he's in the booth at 6 o'clock before the 7 o'clock game, and he's preparing his notes, and he's looking at a story or a stat that marvels you, and he just wants to tell it to you. He turns around and will speak to whoever's in the room, and he would shout it out to you. And it's probably something that, as I just said, like it came out yesterday, right? And we all knew about it, but he's reading about it and he's marveling at it, and it's news to him, and it's going to be on his sheet so he can mention it later in the broadcast. John, I think people have talked about it. He had like a flip cell phone for his entire life. Email didn't exist, right? Like, so, someone say, can you email it to you? Like, just print it out and give it to me, right? Like he's the guy who wanted the morning paper, and like his existence was great because he'd get up and whatever time he felt like, and he'd go through the morning papers, and he'd feel like he was ready for the day, just like he did 30 years ago. And it didn't matter how things evolved around him, how quickly the world moved around him. John moved at his speed, and that was good enough for him.
What's incredible, when we're talking to Sweeny Murti, is that he worked all those games in a row. I mean, that's maybe more impressive than Cal Ripken's streak.
Yeah.
When you factor in the travel, he's getting older, and yet I forget what the exact number turned into, but how about pulling off something like that, especially knowing, the process of getting on the plane every 3 days, going to a new city, the fact that he was able to work that many games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, and it's what he really enjoyed doing, right? Like, there was a game, John wanted to be there, and like his voice was going to be part of it. It is hard to do as you get older. And listen, I watched it sitting next to him. He was in his 70s and early 80s as I got a chance to work alongside him, and you could see how difficult it was from time to time of just not even just to travel. Sometimes just getting through a long day at a home game, knowing that you're there for however many hours, and the game goes 3.5 hours. And you got to get yourself home, do it all over again. It's day games after night games, and the thing that is amazing is that his voice stayed so good and so great through all of it. Right? Like I thought one of the great things to me was sitting there. I got to because of the role I had, I would sit in the booth for the ninth inning as Suzyn would go downstairs for like the post-game interviews in the ninth inning, and I would slide into her seat, get ready for post-game. And I would see John in the final moments of the game. Now, it's been a long day or night or whatever it's been, but as the final pitches are being made and the crux of the game right there, John leans up on the edge of his seat, and he's in perfect position on the microphone with his, if you guys have ever seen him, he has his finger in his ear so he can hear clearly. And he leans in, and he can still describe everything going on perfectly in that little window of what the outcome of the game is going to be in that moment. And after all the time of, and if you listen, it's a long show of John talking about whatever he wants during the course of a game, whether it's a blowout or whatever, and then you get to that final moment, and John's on it just because, like, he knows that's the important part of the game. And he did that every single night, right? And as I said, that it got harder as you get older. And sure, I mean, there were times when you could tell that it wore on him, but I mean, there was no place he would rather be than announcing a game, and that showed for all those years.
Well, Sweeny, I didn't know about this game until one day I came into the press box, and I'm sitting next to Sweeny Murti, and I see you and many others playing the game of how John Sterling would have called a Lou Gehrig home run or a Babe Ruth home run or any other legendary, most random New York Yankee. It is still a game I play to this day, imagining John's home run call of all the legends before that. How much did those home run calls, how much fun was that to you as someone who worked with him and obviously as a fan in general?
I think the fun part was that I think we did this on the air probably. As soon as the Yankees acquired a new player in the off season, one of our, we break down what the acquisition meant, and then maybe 4 or 5 questions in, it's like, what's John's home run call going to be? And one of the things that he loved, we would throw out suggestions, right? And I think you and I, Evan, both actually gave him Brett Gardner's home run call.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
That's right.
Like, he did 2 of them, and one of them was yours, and one of them was actually my wife's, and I relayed both of them to him. And John said immediately, "I love it. I'm going to use both of them." And that was kind of the fun for him as it evolved, that people would throw him suggestions. And it was, wherever he goes to the deli, people are giving him suggestions. He walks into the ballpark and people are screaming suggestions at him. And he's taking it all in. He loved that. And, that just became his, it became his signature thing that even the players got into, right? Like the players knew what they were. And the fun of trying to come up with them or figuring out how John came to connect the dots to make this happen, right? Like the Giancarlo Stanton one or something like that. It's like you got to tell the story about how it came about. And sometimes that's just as much fun. And the ones that seem maybe nonsensical maybe were even twice as much fun because they were, and because only John could make them happen that way. And I'm thinking about this, and as we're talking, it's really not part of the question you asked me, but because I thought of it just now, I want to relay this to you. I remember working as a producer on the Sunday morning after the Yankees won the 1996 World Series. Mike Francesa was doing his Sunday football show. This is October 1996. The Yankees hadn't won the World Series in 18 years. It's a football Sunday, so Mike's doing his NFL show, but Yankees win the World Series the first time. The show basically kind of drifts into all Yankee stuff. And he's taking a lot of phone calls leading up to, I guess he was on until 1 or till 12 or till kickoff of games. And it's one Yankee call after another. And I took one phone call that I screened, and it was a guy telling me that his 2-year-old son does a perfect John Sterling impression. And how, you guys have all answered phone calls at the station. You're a little reluctant to put, little kids on the air because you just never know how it's going to go and what it does to the show and all that stuff. And I said, all right, let me hear it. And the guy puts his little son on. He says, his name is Nate. He's 2 years old. And he does this little perfect, it is high, it is far, it is gone, the Yankees win. And it's the cutest thing ever, right? And I said, all right, hold on, don't go anywhere. And I tell Mike that the guy's on hold. I tell him what it's about. And he waits on hold for like 15 minutes, and Mike finally says, okay, let's go ahead and put him on. So he comes on, he does this whole thing, and the kid nails it, right? And 2-year-old Nate, I still remember, kid nails it. John heard it and called in and told me how great he thought it was. But the reason I remember and I keep coming back is that kid's in his 30s now.
Yeah.
And John Sterling has been a soundtrack to his entire life, and maybe he has kids who are Yankees fans. And that's what John is, the voice that connects all these generations. And little Nate has, hopefully has a tape of that from when he was 2 years old in 1996, and and that's all part of the lore. And it made me realize that as much as we all love, Vin Scully is the greatest baseball broadcaster of all time, but rarely do people try to imitate him. How many of us imitated John, right? Because while we were in the backyard playing wiffle ball or whatever games wherever your games were growing up, you imagine John Sterling narrating, and you did it yourself. That is the great gift that he had for everybody, is that we could imitate him. We could have our own fun with John, and he loved every part of that. And that's not something that you have a lot of great broadcasters. You remember their famous calls, but how many of them get imitated over and over again in the backyard? I mean, that's a legacy that John has.
Sweeny, we've been taking calls on this. We've all kind of given ours. Whether it's home run calls, whether it's final outs, World Series, ALCS, perfect games, 3,000 hits, you got to have a favorite Sterling call.
I don't know that I have a favorite call. I just know that one thing I enjoyed, and I posted a video of this. I got to sit next to John as the final out was going on. I watched him do the Yankees win, and you have to see him do it. Like he gets his whole body into it. His arms are pumping, his legs are churning, everything is just shaking as he punctuates it with the fist in the air, and lets it all out. Like it comes through his whole body, but like not a lot of people got the little gift that I got. Was every night for 9 years when he'd sign off, he'd say, stay tuned for Yankees post-game show starring Sweeny and Murti. And, to grow up in a business where where radio was it, where like you wanted to be in the radio business. And I got to work alongside briefly Harry Callis, the great Phillies announcer, and I got to hear him say my name, once. I got to hear John say it over and over every night, and it never stopped being cool to hear that. So, selfishly, like it's not any of those home run calls. Like a man introduced me, gave me this big Broadway introduction every night. That's what I remember.
Very cool. Sweeny, we really appreciate you coming on. Hope all is well. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. Take care.
Great Sweeny. Murti, part of the radio station for a very long time and obviously worked with John Sterling. Let's give you a couple of other John sounds that maybe you've never heard.
Okay.
And we mentioned he did basketball, right? He did hockey, did the Islanders. Islander goal, Islander goal. He also did basketball. Here is John Sterling calling Larry Bird's 60-point performance.
Bird will try another jumper and hit it at the buzzer. Bird has 60 points. Larry Bird scored 60 points. Look at the Boston players mob him.
Wow.
Sounds exactly the same.
It does.
Now, I'll tell you this funny story about John. Many years ago, Joe and I had him on, and we were talking about this infamous game on July 4th, 1985, between the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. Met fans may remember this. They probably do. It was before my time, but I've heard the stories. The Mets and the Braves played a marathon game that day.
That would have been, correct me if I'm wrong, his birthday was also the 4th of July, wasn't
Was it? All right, so it was on his birthday. Technically, it was a birthday for John.
I believe it was.
He was the Braves announcer, and this was one of the wildest games ever. And one of the craziest moments was that in the bottom of the 18th inning, Rick Camp, the Braves pitcher, came up to bat. And Rick Camp was a horrible hitter. And he wasn't just a pitcher who couldn't hit. He was a horrific hitter. And he came up as the tying run in the bottom of the 18th inning. And shockingly, hit a game-tying home run. So for all the craziness from that game between the Mets and the Braves in 1985, that may have been the wackiest moment of them all, that here's this pitcher who can't hit, hitting a game-tying home run. Well, John was the Braves announcer, and I never realized that John had a call. So I went back, I listened to the call. We'll play it for you in a minute. I think it's one of the great calls of all time. John told Joe and I, guys, I did not like that call.
What?
And we're like, what? And I played it again, and Joe's like, what are you talking about, bro? It's just amazing. And for whatever reason, John was such a tough critic on himself, he didn't think what we're about to play is a good call. I think it may be one of the best calls he's ever had. It was an all-time great call. So again, imagine, it's the bottom of the 18th inning. This game is crazy. And a pitcher who can't hit comes up as the tying run.
It'll be an 0-2 pitch. And he is at the deep left. Heat goes back. It is gone. Holy cow. Oh, my goodness. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Rick Camp. Rick Camp. I don't believe it. Remember what I just said. If he hits a home run, that certifies this game as the wackiest, wildest, most improbable game in history.
That call is awesome.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
It perfectly explained the craziness of the moment.
You know what's funny? So you say he didn't love that call, and I think you could hear it in his voice. He's so stunned by it that maybe that's what catches him off guard.
He just didn't expect
Right,
it.
he didn't expect it. But then you think about fast forwarding and how many think about the 2001 World Series, the unexpected Yankee moments that happen. You almost wonder if that, like, kind of early on from a baseball standpoint, he was almost more prepared for the unexpected when it came time to be the Yankee announcer?
Well, with the Yankees, nothing should be unexpected.
Right.
When
that's
a
true.
crappy hitter comes up in the bottom of the 18th inning of a game that's 6 hours long.
We wouldn't even get an 18th inning anymore with the runner on second.
And the pitcher batting.
Exactly.
I mean, there were so many moments from that call that you will just never, ever, ever get again. We'll get back to calls in a minute. We'll continue to honor John Sterling. But Knick fans, what has to happen for you guys to take care of business and advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for a second straight year? We're going to break it down coming up in a few minutes.
The Fan Focus is presented by Chef IQ. Watch the game, not the grill. Get your gear at chefiq.com. It was Game 7 mania yesterday. The Pistons look like the regular season Pistons again. They ended a Magic run in the postseason, 116-94. The Magic have since fired their head coach, who I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. The Cavs...
Jamal Mosley.
That's right, Jamal Mosley. The Cavs woke up in the second half to eliminate the Raptors, 114-102, behind a big third quarter from Jared Allen. On the ice, the Canadians eliminated the Lightning in a Game 7, 2-1. And in a Game 1, it was the Avalanche over the Wild in a wild back-and-forth 9-6 win. This Fan Focus was sponsored by Town Fair Tire. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
John Oliver and Seth Meyers in residency at the Beacon Theater. 27 sold-out shows and counting, and due to demand, 4 additional dates have been added in 2026 on September 27th, October 25th, November 22nd, and December 13th. Tickets are on sale now. There are limited tickets still available for upcoming shows on May 31st and June 14th. Tickets and more info are available at Ticketmaster.com. Spring is the perfect time to refresh your home, and Windorama is making it easier than ever during the Spring Refresh Sale. Save up to 30% on your window and door project, plus take advantage of low to no interest payment plans when you purchase and install with Windorama. It's simple. Book your free in-home consultation, shop from home, and let their local certified experts handle measurement and installation. Visit Windorama.com to book your free in-home consultation today.
Total Orthopedics and Sports Medicine is expanding across Long Island, New York City, and New Jersey, with new locations opening in Comac, Babylon, and West Orange. Expert care is closer than ever. Their top-rated doctors treat everything from everyday injuries to complex orthopedic conditions. Wherever you are on your journey, they are there to help you move forward. They are the experts at getting you back to being you. Visit TotalOrthoSportsMed.com to schedule your appointment today or call 855-321-ORTHO.
WFAN remembers legendary voice of the New York Yankees, John Sterling.
Blaze in Albany. What's going on, Blaze?
Hey, Boomer. Gio, thanks for taking the call. The John Sterling loss is just crushing. I never got to thank him for this, but he was my eyes for so many Yankee games, whether it was here at home or at the stadium listening. I was born totally blind, and just the word picture that he created for me and so many others, and just the way he entertained, I just am frankly forever grateful, and I never got to thank him personally for that, unfortunately.
Thank you for the memories, John. You will be missed.
This is an Odyssey Sports Minute.
There is zero excuse for the New York Knicks to not make the NBA Finals this year. They are the best team left standing in the Eastern Conference, with Boston eliminated over the weekend by the Philadelphia 76ers. And Philly is firing on all cylinders. The Knicks are better. The Knicks are better than the Cavs. The Knicks are better than the Pistons. And if the Knicks don't get to the NBA Finals, Mike Brown's got to go, and Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to be wearing orange and blue next season at the Garden. I'm Nick Costos.
Allstate is Metro New York's trusted auto insurer, protecting cars across the tri-state area. We're by your side when you need us most, providing you with affordable auto coverage you can rely on. So switch to Allstate today, and you could save an average of $713 on auto insurance. You're in good hands with Allstate. Based on the national average annual savings for new customers surveyed in 2024, savings vary, subject to terms and availability.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Mostly sunny, breezy but pleasant. High 72.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
Hey, this is Sal Licata. Right now is the time to make sure that your current cooling system is ready for hot weather. You don't want it to fail when it's 90 degrees out, and if it's over 15 years old, you're wasting your money. Get a new high-efficiency AC system right now from my friends at Edison Heating and Cooling. They are New Jersey's air conditioning experts and have been for decades. Take it from me. These guys have done plenty of work on my house. You'll save money and stay cooler. Contact them now at edisonhvac.com. That's edisonhvac.com.
For 100 years, London Jewelers has been part of life's most meaningful moments, from engagements and anniversaries to milestones, big and small. We've helped mark the moments that matter the most to our customers. Generations of families have trusted London Jewelers for exceptional craftsmanship, timeless design, and service that lasts a lifetime. As we celebrate a century of excellence, we thank you for being part of our story, and we look forward to the moments still to come. We invite you to visit London Jewelers at any one of their 6 locations. London Jewelers, celebrating 100 years of brilliance.
If you're looking for a great price on Falcon tires, there's only one place to go: Town Fair Tire, where you always get the guaranteed lowest price on Falcon tires. But it doesn't end there, because Town Fair Tire gives you free services for the life of your Falcon tires. More free services than any other tire dealer. That's why we say nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal, and I mean nobody.
Name brands at discount prices. Town Fair Tire.
Hey everyone, Boomer here. If you love eating great food as much as I do, you have to listen up. The Chef IQ Sense wireless thermometer and the mini oven are must-haves in your kitchen. The thermometer helps perfectly cook your chicken, fish, or meat, and the oven is an all-in-one hero that bakes, broils, air fries, toast, and much more. For years now, I've been telling you about how amazing these products are and how they have changed my life. Now it's time to change yours. Go to chefiq.com and don't forget to use the code word BOOMER to save big at checkout. That's code word BOOMER at chefiq.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hey, Boomer Esiason here. After years in the game, I don't guess. I go with what works. With Red Pocket Mobile, you lock in your rate and you keep it. No price creep, no sudden jumps, just straightforward pricing and premium 5G plans starting at $10 a month. Visit redpocket.com to see why more Americans are switching to better wireless without paying more. Red Pocket Mobile, your new ultimate cell carrier.
You look like you could use a refresher, a Dunkin' refresher. Try Dunkin's delicious black cherry or berry acai refreshers. One sip and you'll feel refreshed. There are so many delicious flavors like mango pineapple or strawberry dragon fruit. So whether you're powering through your day or just pulling up for a little treat, make it a Dunkin' refresher. Dunkin' refreshers, they're the perfect summer pick-me-up. Dunkin' refreshers are fruit flavored, contain 0 to 1% fruit juice. Terms and exclusions may apply.
Serve Pro, cleaning, restoration, construction like it never happened. Call 1-800-SERVE-PRO.
We're talking New York sports. WFAN, WFAN FM, WFAN FM HD1 New York, an Odyssey sports station.
If you've missed any of the show, you can rewind it on the Odyssey app. There's a lot of sports news going on. You mentioned Jamal Mosley, the head coach of the Orlando Magic. He was pretty much fired before they even took a 3-1 series lead and blew it.
I think they wanted to fire him after the play-in game.
Oh, no doubt. No question about it. So that is not a surprise. Tom Thibodeau is now being linked to that job. I do not think he's the right guy for that job. I think they need someone who's going to take them to the next level, not someone who's going to rebuild an organization. And what he did with the Knicks was rebuild it. What he kind of did with Minnesota, or at least tried to do, was rebuild it. So I don't love him for Orlando, but his name is being mentioned. The other big news is that, remember, Masai Ujiri.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is now the team president and alternate governor of the Dallas Mavericks.
Really?
So big news by Dallas jumping in with the hiring of Masai Ujiri. You got the NBA lottery coming up over the weekend, but the main event in this town is Knicks 76ers. Game 1, Madison Square Garden tonight. Couple of basketball thoughts. First of all, I want to shout out a caller to our show, hold on, I'm going to screw up his name now. Somerville. What's it?
JR in Somerville. He's going to crush you for that.
Sorry, JR. I thought of you, JR. I did. While I was watching Celtics 76ers, and I sit down, and it's ready to go. I'm pumped up. It's a Game 7. When I saw Joe Mazzulla insert Luka Garza and Ron Harper Jr. into his starting lineup, my reaction was, JR's onto something.
Yep.
Joe Mazzulla's an idiot. Because as much as Joe Mazzulla has had some good moments in his career, JR has always called in and actually called in on Friday and said, hey, guys, the reason I prefer the Celtics is Joe Mazzulla is the worst coach in the league. And I laughed. I chuckled. I always laugh and chuckle when he says that. But on Saturday night, when the genius that is Mazzulla outthinks himself to starting Harper Jr. and Garza, and I think Ron Harper he pulled after about 4.5 minutes, and we never saw him again. Mm-hmm. He was in witness protection. That was when I was like, boy, maybe JR's onto something about Mazzulla.
Yep. JR was all over it. No, you're absolutely right. Look, he was guessing. With no Tatum, he tried to find something that would stop the tide with the 76ers taking over. It just didn't work.
He didn't have the answers. Now, quickly on this series, and I'll give you a couple of thoughts that jump out at me. Number one, and we mentioned this in the Atlanta series, but even more so in this Philly series, the Knicks have to protect the basketball because the Sixers can run, especially with their quick guards, with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. So number one, the Knicks are going to have to be protective and smart with the basketball.
Even off the bench when Grimes is in.
No doubt about it. And the Sixers are not a deep team. I think this is the edge that the Knicks have a few edges in this series, one of which is Philly's not deep. I mean, Quentin Grimes is going to come off the bench, and he's going to drive some Sixer fan nuts, and maybe he'll have some moments where he sticks it to his former team. They are not a deep team.
No.
The second thing is, how do you avoid, and this is the challenge for Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson, how do you avoid not committing the dumb and the cheap fouls on someone as skilled, as smart, and as floppy as Joel Embiid?
Yep, and he will bait it.
He will what?
He will bait it. He will bait you.
He's as good. He's a master at baiting.
I see what you did.
What did I do?
Nothing. Well, another unedited drop.
No, he really is. He is the master at it. He is as good a flopper as there is.
And that's where Mitch has to keep his emotions in check in a series because there's already that personal element.
Not worried about Mitch as much as I'm worried about the other guy.
Cat.
Because Karl Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid have a history. We'll examine that history a little bit more detail later on in the show. Let's say 1 o'clock. We'll go a little deeper on their history. But Karl Anthony Towns can't lose it, commit stupid fouls. I'm not worried about him taking a swing at Embiid like he did 7 years ago. I'm just more concerned because this has been part of Cat's issues. We haven't seen it in this postseason, but we've seen it before where he commits just the dumb frustration foul. And if you go back to one of the rare times that Cat and Embiid were on the same floor as Knicks and Sixers, go back to the January 24th game. I was looking it up. Knicks actually won this game, 112-109. Karl Anthony Towns played 16 minutes, and he fouled out. That cannot happen.
No.
And granted, it happened in that regular season game, and the Knicks overcame it. Embiid went 38-11. But that can happen. Like, you're going to commit fouls on Joel Embiid. It's going to occur. But you don't want to put yourself in the spot where Cat's sitting because he's in foul trouble. And, yeah, the same thing with Mitch. And Mitch could get baited. We saw him get baited in the Atlanta game in which he got ejected.
Yes.
And we all know what happened a few years ago where Joel Embiid tried to injure him.
And that is in the back of Mitchell Robinson's head. How could it not be?
Absolutely. I think what the Knicks have to do in this series, and a couple of things are obvious, it's with any opponent, is number one, you can't turn the basketball over. And number two, you've got to find a way to not let Joel Embiid dictate the terms of this series. One of the problems the Celtics had is they had no answer on defending him. That's why they were sending Jaylen Brown at him.
Yes.
They had no shot. And I heard Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart talking on their pod. One of the issues they had 2 years ago was they were sending doubles so often, he'd find his open teammates for open shots. Joel Embiid's teammates are actually a lot better than what they were 2 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be Maxey burying like the threes and everything he did 2 years ago now, especially with Edgecombe and Paul George looking like Paul George.
And defensively, they are very tough, Philadelphia. They are. VJ Edgecombe has had a tremendous rookie season, and part of it is how pesty he is defensively. And I think on the other side, Philly's going to hunt for Jalen Brunson. They're going to try to find the mismatches and expose Jalen defensively. But look, overall, I think the Knicks are the better team. I think it's close because the Sixers are incredibly talented, but I think the Knicks are a deeper team. And quite frankly, I trust their stars to stay on the floor, specifically Jalen Brunson, and then thinking about Joel Embiid more than on the other side. And also Tyrese Maxey is affected by this finger issue. At least you have to think it's going to affect him to some regard.
I'm so fascinated by how the Knicks roll out in a best-of-7 their defensive matchups versus these guys. Like, are they going to have Brunson guarding Maxey in this series?
No.
I don't think, right?
No.
Where are you going? Bridges?
Bridges.
Yeah. OG on Paul George?
OG on, no, I'm thinking of, believe it or not, I'm thinking to send an OG at Embiid a lot.
That's what they did a lot in 24 in that series was OG on Embiid. And Brunson, they kind of just shoved in the corner on Oubre, like, hey, you just stay out of this.
And you also want to keep Cat out of foul trouble. And so I'm going to try to avoid the Cat-Embiid matchup defensively.
And you put Towns on Paul George, which Paul George doesn't have the athleticism that he had a couple of years ago to just drive right past
I
him
get
every
even
time.
crazier and put him on Kelly Oubre once in a while, too.
But then what are you doing with Brunson?
That's where it comes in.
Like Towns has been a better defender than Brunson the last 2
Brunson's
got
to guard somebody.
Yeah. Well, they both have to guard somebody, no doubt. I think you're going to see a lot of mixing and matching, but OG Anunoby, who was the MVP of that first-round series, he can defend anybody, and I think he's going to get a lot of time on Joel Embiid in this series, a lot of time. It's going to be fascinating, and it all starts tonight. We'll go deeper into it, but I also want to play this from Joel Embiid because I thought this was fascinating. So he does his press conference after Game 7, and a great moment for him and a great moment for Philadelphia. You know, jokes aside, this was a long time coming for them to not only beat the Celtics, beat them in a Game 7 on the road, but to do it trailing 3-1. And so Joel Embiid is talking about the victory, talking about getting on the court, everything that happened in the game. And then on his own, he brings up you people, Knicks fans. Because what happened 2 years ago when you guys took over their building, and we were a part of it. We were there for Game 7. Yeah. Some may say we led the invasion.
We did.
We were leading that invasion on the Revolutionary Row.
The Buddy Hield game.
Yeah, yeah. Here is Joel Embiid talking about said invasion and how this needs to be different this season.
Yeah, I just have a message for our fans. Last time we played the Knicks, it felt like this was Madison Square Garden East. So we're gonna need the support. Don't sell your tickets. This is bigger than you. We need you guys. The atmosphere that we've had the last couple of games in Philly, especially the last one, pushing it to Game 7. I mean, we need all of it.
Okay, a couple of things. We'll start with the geography. How does he get Madison Square Garden east when Madison Square Garden is more east than whatever they're calling that dump in Philadelphia these days?
I forgot. Wells Fargo now?
No, it's something else now.
Is it?
I have it because I was looking at tickets the other day.
Comcast Center?
I honestly, I don't remember.
Who cares?
They're not paying me or you the money, so
Exactly.
why do we have to say what it's called?
Yeah, the new Spectrum.
Yeah.
Xfinity Mobile.
Oh.
Yeah. Are they paying you?
No,
Then why'd you
certainly
say
not.
it? Yeah, I call it the dump in Philly. But number one, the geography on Joel, all right, fine. He's not from the United States.
Right.
He moved here as a teenager, so he probably doesn't know. Number two, it's bigger than you. I like that line. This is bigger than you.
I don't like that line.
You don't like that line?
Because it almost feels like you're already setting a bad precedent at challenging your fans. You don't want to come into, like, this involves people's pocketbooks and everything else. Can they make money? And you're doing it's bigger than you.
Well, you have nothing to worry about because you're right. Like, who is Joel Embiid to count your money? Well, Joel has a plan for that. Take a listen. This is Embiid number 2.
I don't care if it's 70-30, it's Knicks fans. They travel, they're going to buy the tickets, and there's going to be, some people that need the money and that, probably going to sell tickets. But don't do it. We need you guys. We got a pretty good chance. We're going to need our support. We're going to need them to be extremely loud. If you need money, I got you.
He says that, and he gets a bunch of laughs. What does that mean?
Yeah, don't say something you don't promise to back it up.
Is Joel Embiid promising Sixer fans that he's going to hand them cash? That's the way that sounded.
Yeah, who do you get in touch with there?
I don't know.
I saw Sixer fans tweeting at him like, hey, I could use tickets to the game, Joel.
Yeah. Or I'm
Forget tickets. Yeah. I'm not going to sell my tickets, but can you give me what I would have sold them for?
I was going to sell it for quadruple the price, Joel. Give me the money. Here's the problem with Embiid calling out his own fans. It's a tricky, tricky situation. There's going to be Knicks fans there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how many. We can debate that in a second. Whatever you say, it's not going to work.
No.
Like, your voice isn't changing the Sixer fans' decision to sell their own tickets or the Sixer fans' aggressiveness in buying tickets on Ticketmaster when they went on sale yesterday. That's not changing anything. And honestly, the Sixers tried something yesterday, which I know a lot of New Yorkers are mocking, which is that they did that geo-fencing stuff.
Yeah.
Where they will not allow, like if I went online, which I did last time, to buy tickets to a Game 5, or not in this case, a Game 6 in this case.
Couldn't do it.
They wouldn't let me because of where my address is. And so even that doesn't work because most people get their tickets via the secondary market.
Well, I was going to say, they can't block the secondary market from it.
They
just has
cannot.
Initial sales.
They can only block initial ticket sales. And you can try that, but it usually doesn't work.
Right. Because if you're going down to spend the penny anyway. You will find a way to pay that upcharge in the secondary market.
Well, okay, so that's where things are tricky. We invaded 2 years ago. I can only speak for us now. Granted, I'm not a Knicks fan. You're not. Tiki sort of is.
Okay.
Loogie definitely is. We bought the tickets mainly because the prices were cheap.
Yeah, but I think they'll still be relatively cheap on the secondary market.
Won't. No, they won't.
Well,
this is the big difference. No, I've done my research.
All right, so tell me.
I'm not sitting here screwing around. The secondary market is red hot because the Sixer fan believes.
Okay.
You want me to show you?
Well, I just like when
if you don't believe me, ask me.
When I say relative, like what's the get-in for the Garden tonight?
Okay, the get-in for the Garden tonight is about $350. Okay. In fact, let me confirm that before I continue.
Right.
I want to give you an exact number because I want there to be some accuracy on this. The get-in price right now, it's less than that. It's already dropped to $260.
$260 to get in tonight for Knicks Sixers?
Knicks Sixers is $260. Now let's take a look at Philadelphia.
Shoot, I might have to go.
Yeah.
Philadelphia on Friday night.
Okay, so I'm just telling you, for that to be relative to me, we're talking about $175 max.
$290. It's a hotter ticket in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow, then it's not worth it.
And the reason it's a hotter ticket, this is not that complicated. It has nothing to do with Joel Embiid. It has to do with what they just did. They just beat the Celtics. The fan is now believing in the team. They didn't believe in the team, Joel, 2 years ago, and they weren't wrong because you frauds lost. They now believe in the team. They're galvanized. The reason why the Knicks prices are not that high is actually pretty understandable because Knicks fans believe they're going to go to the conference finals.
They believe too much.
They believe so much that they're like, why am I dropping a fortune for game one?
All right, good research, Evan. I did not expect that. I figured still slightly cheaper, not. Now, though, the thing is about waiting on pulling on the price of those tickets. I know they came back from 3-1 down, but if the Knicks go and win games 1 and 2 at home, is the Sixer fans still believing in Game 3?
I think the prices will drop. Now, I want to remind you, in Philadelphia, the game we went to, do you remember what I spent for the Revolutionary Row seats that I bought for Tommy?
No, because I went for free in a suite.
Yeah, $95.
Okay.
Which, I'm not saying it's cheap, but it's cheap for a playoff game. So I think what we need to keep in mind with this whole, hey, are Knicks fans going to be able to invade? This is just simply a hotter ticket. Doesn't mean Knicks fans aren't going to try to go. They are.
And they will.
But that's the best geofencing one can have. The best geofencing is it being a hot ticket. Because the hotter ticket it is, the more likely the local person is to spend it than someone driving 2.5 hours. It's just natural. Because if it's more expensive to go to Philly, why wouldn't you just go to the Garden?
At that point, yeah.
At that point, you go to the Garden. The reason Knicks fans went 2 years ago is it was cheaper to go.
Right. That was your chance to see a playoff game and spend way less money.
Yes. So that's where things stand. I just think Joel looked kind of weak. He looked desperate.
The city of Philadelphia looks desperate when a star player has to basically beg you not to sell to you. Like, think of all the Phillies, the Eagles, the Sixers, the Flyers. That's pathetic.
What about the geofencing?
I have less of an issue with that.
You better have less of an issue with that.
Because
I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? Yeah, continue.
The Yankees did it.
The Yankees did it.
Yeah,
Do people forget that? Like, I'm just curious. The Yankees did it. The Yankees did it to Red Sox fans. They would not allow people from the New England area to buy Yankee playoff tickets for the Wild Card Series last year. I'm not killing them. I'm just saying, be fair. If you're a Yankee Knicks fan, keep the same energy.
Well, that's
all I'm saying.
And the Knicks wasn't geofencing as much as it was 24 hours, like before you're allowed to post and sell them, right? Didn't they do that situation?
Yeah, what the Garden has done, so like for me as a season ticket holder, I can't list or sell my tickets until 24 hours ahead of time. That is not geofencing. That is simply trying to eliminate the scalper or the secondary market being jacked up. And it's worked because the prices have been reasonable. Even tonight's game, you see these prices are dropping.
But that
you don't have a lot of time to have them listed. So what the Knicks are doing is very different than trying to police other fan bases out. That's not at all what they're doing.
But it still helps with that. If you only have 24 hours to make a decision if you're traveling in on ticket prices.
I don't know if it helps with that, honestly, Shaun, because I think if you're a traveler, you're probably not planning it that far in advance. It's probably a last-second thing. Or maybe not. I don't know, but I'm just telling you.
Bottom line is this. I think what the Knicks is the right
Knicks
thing.
are not doing this.
Okay.
I want to be clear about this. The Knicks are not geofencing. They're trying to eliminate the secondary market hype-up price.
Look, regardless, whether it's geofencing, hype-up price, all these connections, this is just the way of the world now. And I think it's a credit to fans that travel in general that teams have to worry about this. But no, it's not, because either way, like you said, if you're going to find a way in the building if you really want to be there. So who cares about their geofencing?
But I do think you eliminate more out-of-town fans by how high the prices are.
Yes.
And I'll give you a great example that you need to explain to me then, if it's not what I'm saying. The Met fan always invaded Philadelphia. Always. My entire life. We go to the Vet, half the building would be Met fans. Always. But yet in the postseason in 2024, it was me and 7 other people at a weekend playoff game in Philadelphia. Why?
Because fans believed in their team, and they wanted to be there.
Well, Met fans believed in their team. How come they didn't invade?
Because the prices?
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, there's no other reason.
Follow the money.
Because I think it's easier for the Met fan to say, all right, if I'm going to drop a fortune, I'll do it at City, not in Philadelphia.
For half the commute, unless you're a Central Jersey fan. But yes, I digress.
Of course, that's different. Sure.
Yeah.
So I think, this has always been my theory on this, the hotter the ticket is, the less opposing fans will show up. So if I had to guess right now, and you're right, the series could dictate this. If the Knicks are up 2-0 or it's 1-1 or they're down 0-2, whatever it is, nobody knows. I think that there will be less Knicks fans in Philadelphia this time around than last time. And it has nothing to do with Joel Embiid. It has to do with the belief that that fan base now has in their team.
I think you're right. But there's also, I think, going to be an element of maybe more Knicks fans than Embiid otherwise would have done. I think he poked the bear a little bit.
Think he poked him?
I think there's Knicks fans that feel challenged to go to Philadelphia now.
Well, can I respond to Joel?
Yeah.
What if the Sixer fan promises they'll be at every game? Can you make the same promise? Because I don't know if you can, bro.
No, he cannot.
So that's big of you. You calling out the hardworking men and women of Philadelphia. Screw the money. It doesn't matter. Just show up. You got to be there. We need you. Hey, Joel, you're getting paid either way. Are you going to be at all 7 games?
No wisdom teeth getting pulled out in the series, Joel.
I'll make you this prediction. Joel Embiid is not playing every game in this series.
Well, there's the kiss of death.
Well, the kiss of death of what?
Now he's definitely playing every game.
Oh, yeah, because I've got the power now to kiss the death of Joel Embiid and his health. He's a walking injury. He's always been a walking injury. I'm not doing anything to jinx or reverse jinx or anything. I'm observing the NBA and giving an opinion.
What if this is about to be the most insane run of Embiid's playoff career where he does stay healthy the rest of the season?
Redefines his legacy. He has a chance to redefine his legacy. I think he's a loser. I've been backed up by that comment ever since I first made it 3 years ago. He's a loser. If he proves he's not a loser,